Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. A bit accidented in the beginning of the stream. This is Mael Duin, a small streamer from Australia that plays puzzle video games, and not only plays the games, but also talks to the people who make the games. Like today's very special stream, I'll be talking with the developers of Slugtrip. Let me introduce you to Adolfrog and Lou. How are you guys?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Sound check, all good. Let me because my chat wasn't working. I told you before the stream something would break. I'll fix it in a moment, but I want to say two things. First is that I was trying to, for viewers, I was trying or working to have 2 interviews within this year, and after interviewing Jagriff in, I think it was April or May, then there was nothing, and I've been contacting developers trying to convince them almost to come to the stream and have a chat and showcase their game. I was not lucky with my trying, and it was end of November. I almost gave up, but Iceblinked, which is the name of the studio of Adolfrog and Lou, they came my way. I just mentioned, like, very innocently that I also do interviews. And they say, hey, wait a moment, that's interesting, I want to know more. And then we were talking, and they were happy to be tricked to be here today, almost. So that's one thing. Hopefully that changes next year, but I always say the same. Hopefully I always want to do more and bring you more games, more interviews. Time is a limited resource. Second thing that I want to say is that they mentioned that they didn't want to show themselves on camera, and I said that's not absolutely zero problem, but I asked them to have something. I didn't want to show a static image, so I asked them if they could have a. I know nothing of the topic, so excuse me if I say something wrong, but it's like a VTuber. I was calling it VTuber, but it's actually a PNG tuber. Don't ask me the difference. I think one is 3D, the other one is 2D, but anyway, I asked them to have something, and I appreciate that they took the extra effort that I am no one to ask someone to do something, but they accepted. And look at these 2 cute things. So how are you feeling?
Doing good. Yeah, happy to do it. And like, honestly, we just look exactly like this, so I don't know why I went through the thing.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're super excited to talk to you, and thanks for reaching out. We're definitely excited to talk about the game.
Okay. They are developing Slugtrip. Still in development. And we usually play the demo that's publicly available on Steam. Today, I am going to play a slightly different version. When we get to the point that we are playing the game, they will mention the differences. So for viewers, if they see the game and they think, oh, this is like too easy, not enough content, they are tweaking it. They are still working on it. They will mention that, so don't panic. Slugtrip is releasing on the 22nd of December this month, meaning it's the 22nd in the United States. That will be the 23rd in Australia, and sometime in between for the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is a sandwich between Australia and United States. The best course of action is to wishlist the game. Why, you might ask, if that's something new to you. First, it helps with the algorithm, Steam algorithm, which I don't know how it works, but it helps with exposure and interest. Second is what I know for a fact, that Steam will notify you when the game releases and it's already available, so you don't have to worry, oh, it's 22nd at 8 o'clock or is it 22nd at 12 a.m. Wishlist the game and will be on the safe side. Do I want to say something else to the viewers? The interview has 4 parts, but I usually explain the parts. I think this is the first time that I have an interviewee that comes with the homework done, so they know how it's structured. They know the insights of the interview. Thank you, thank you for the effort. So I'll be explaining when we get to the part. So nothing to worry. Just know, if you're watching right now, just know that the interview has 4 parts, and we'll talk about the game, and we'll talk about them, about their likes, dislikes. There will be chat questions, usually at the end, but if it's something related to the topic we are talking about, I might ask at the moment. I need to share with viewers in the chat, because it was a little bit accidental at the beginning. I still have to share that. I'll do it in a moment. So if you're interested in the game, you can go to Steam and search for, and you'll see. Otherwise, I'll share the link pinned at the top of the chat in a moment. My first question for you two: are you ready?
Oh, we are ready.
All set, yeah.
Okay, so first block is al battery. I call it battery, but maybe that's coming from Spanish. My background taking over. It's a group of quick questions. Might not be quick answer, but that's up to you. My first question: what was your first video game ever? And I need
video game. Ooh.
I need an answer from you both. So one each.
All right. Lou, do you want to go first? I know mine, but I can wait.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. I'll keep thinking.
Yeah. So the first one I can remember. This might not be the first one for real, but my first console was a Sega Genesis, and there was I don't even remember the name of it. There was a Batman game, and I remembered playing that one. First game I got, huge Batman fan, and played that to death. I just played that game every day.
Yeah, I think I want to say my first game was the original Mario Bros. On NES. I think that's my first memory of seeing any kind of game at all.
I know the Mario one. The Batman one is like a side-scrolling, horizontal.
Yeah, side-scrolling. There was one that came out based on a movie. It wasn't that one. This is classic Batman looking, the blue cape and everything.
And how old were you?
Oh, I don't even remember. Definitely single digits. I was probably like 5 or 6.
Lou?
Yeah, I mean, probably the same boat. I'm guessing around 5, somewhere in there. It's been so long. But yeah, probably 5, 6.
My guess always beat me. I was 9 when I played Super Mario World.
That's a great one. That's a great game.
Anime? Do you watch anime?
I used to watch anime a decent bit. I don't really watch it too much anymore. But yeah, I mean, I like some of the big name movies, like Your Name, those kinds of things.
Do you watch it subbed or dubbed?
Gotta go dubbed.
Dubbed.
I mean subbed. I said the wrong thing. Subbed. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Subbed. The opposite of what I said.
I subbed as well. I'm kind of in loose boat where I don't watch a lot of anime. I think I've watched more this year than I have in actually a number of years, and all subbed if I can find it.
Any favorite series do you like to share?
This year I watched, I think it's been out for a while, I don't know when it came out, but I watched the miniseries called Pluto, and I really like that one quite a bit. I like that one a lot.
I'll take note because I don't know that one. Pluto, like the planet.
Yes, Pluto like the planet. It's very cool, kind of influenced by Astro Boy, but kind of like a more intense one. It's a very good miniseries.
Okay.
I can't think of the last series that I watched. As far as anime movies go, though, I really liked A Silent Voice.
I have that one actually. Physically, like with a case.
Oh, nice, yeah.
In a disc. I liked it. I thought it would be different than what I was expecting, but I remember I liked. I don't really. I cannot tell what it's about because I don't remember it. I watched it a long time ago, but doesn't matter. Well, good recommendation. Do you have a favorite video game soundtrack?
Favorite video game soundtrack? Probably Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy X.
I like that. Yeah, Chrono Trigger is really tough to beat. Although, like, favorite game song, if I'm going to like take your question, I'm not going to break it up too much, but favorite game song is actually Chrono Cross's theme song. I love that song so much. Favorite video game soundtrack, probably Chrono Trigger or Bastion. I just love the soundtrack of Bastion so much. I like listen to that. So it's one of the only game soundtracks I listen to when not playing the game. I think that soundtrack's amazing.
I like all your answers. You mean this? Lou?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that is an excellent movie. It's really good. It's a bit of a kind of heavier fare, but it's really good.
Someone recommended it to me, and I had to have it. Do you have a developer that you admire? I would like to be like this.
Want to go first, Sulfur?
Yeah, I can go. Like there's I mean there's a lot, but like again, just like Bastion, just everyone at Supergiant, I just think like every game they come out with is amazing. Their art direction's great, their game design's great. Like they're just able to kind of like strip down all of the genres that they tackle in like such a very elegant way. Like Transistor does like kind of turn-based, kind of real-time RPG combat. Like Hades, everyone already knows that's great. Like Bastion, all of the different weapons and how those felt unique. Like it's just everything they do is great. I love Double Fine and Tim Schafer, and like big fan of like old adventure games. So like, and then also the sense of humor from those games as well. And like Brutal Legends. So like those are big ones that pop up. There's others. I can talk for 50 minutes about all the developers.
I was about to say just one.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. sorry. Just one.
Lou?
Yeah, for me, probably Hideo Kojima. I really love Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding. I really love the his kind of general style that's pretty consistent across his games.
Do you accept his kind of how to put it into words, like the criticism that people have? Some are over, like exaggerated, but some other, like they say, like you are talking about something and you are making it a big deal when it is nothing. Do you accept this as well as a developer?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's I don't want to spend too long talking about Hideo Kojima, but I do think that he puts a lot, him and his team put a lot of effort into very, very small details that maybe when you're playing the game, you don't quite internalize as being important. And then after you've played the game, you kind of stew on it and think about it. There's just so many little breadcrumbs and things that kind of add up to this bigger whole. But when you're playing the game, you might think like, why did they spend so much time on this really intricate system that I used twice throughout the whole game or something? But I love that stuff. I love all the nitty gritty kind of like gory details that add up to a way, way bigger whole.
I embrace his in my opinion, which is not important. He's a little bit victim of the marketing, but I embrace that part of him, like it's over the top, and I take it as a little bit funny. Like that's how. So I like him for the good and the bad as well.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't miss his name. His name is plastered over literally every inch of everything. But
next question: why games released in December never qualify for awards? Sorry, this is not a question. This is my condolences, because Slugtrip is releasing in December. So how do you feel about that? What's your opinion?
Well, I mean, yeah, we just wanted to because the Expedition 33, we just wanted to let him have all the awards, so we decided to release in December. It's cool. It's our first game where we weren't really thinking about awards or anything like that, so we're just happy to get the game out.
Releasing in December when it's the Game Awards, where Expedition 33 is going to take the spotlight. It's your Expedition 33 is also going to cover the release, hide the release of a little bit of Slugtrip in the month. Everyone's going to be talking about Expedition 33 won the most awards in 1 year ever. This might be a good topic for the end, or part 4, when it's a little bit more general about the gaming industry, but I'll leave it there for now.
Okay.
Tell
me one of your hobbies.
I like doing powerlifting style training. I don't do any kind of powerlifting competing, but I really enjoy the structure of powerlifting training.
Powerlifting is lifting weights?
Yeah, it's lifting weights, but it's focusing on squat, bench, and deadlift as kind of like the 3 bread and butter, and then you do some accessory stuff kind of around that to pad things out.
Okay, and it's not related to Paralympics?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's like power is in like power, like force.
Yeah.
Powerlifting.
Yeah, powerlifting.
Oh, powerlifting. I understood paralifting, and I was. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get it. At all, Fred.
Yeah, a huge board gamer and guitar. Like those are my 2 big non-game related. Well, one's game related, but two big hobbies.
If you do them at the same time, does it count as one?
I think it's got to be. I don't know if there's any board games that incorporates playing music while you're playing them, but that's not a bad idea.
What's your puzzle GOTY so far this year? I have so far because I usually do the interviews mid-year, but by now it's except Slugtrip, of course.
Yeah, that one might be one that a tall frog has to take, because I haven't played too many games this year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is going to be a very unsatisfactory answer, but we've been so heads down on making the game. I have my list of all the games that I'm going to allow myself to play when this is done. I don't think I've played a single puzzle game or not game. I tried some Next Fest demos that I really liked, and like throughout the year, but I have not actually, like, I just beat Cyberpunk 6 months ago. I'm way behind. So yeah, I'll have to talk to you next year about my game of the year for this year.
These questions, they don't have a correct answer, but this one in particular, it has. Because if I'm asked, tell me your GOTY this year, the correct answer is I'll tell you in 5 when I play everything released this year. Then I'll be able to tell you which one was the best game released in 2025.
If it's a satisfactory, I'm very excited to play Blueprints because I've heard nothing but good things about that. So that is like very top of my queue to play once Slugtrip is wrapped up. So I'm very excited for that one.
Okay, so turning a little bit the question that way, Lou, what do you think? Even though if you haven't played, which one do you think it's best game released? Maybe most popular is Blueprints. Sorry.
I mean, the game that I'm looking forward to really sinking some time into after Slugtrip is Death Stranding 2. I missed it, but I'm really, really jonesing to play Death Stranding 2.
Okay, who's the fun guy of you two?
I'd say we're both pretty fun guys, you know.
Yeah, I think we are equally fun. That's the diplomatic answer.
I like it. Favorite puzzle video game ever?
Favorite. So this one, this might tie into later parts of the interview, but for me, it's Steven Sausage Roll.
Yeah, Steven Sausage Roll is really tough to beat. That's I think I have to go with Braid just because, like, for a lot of people, that was like their first, like, oh man, games can do this kind of thing. Like, what? Like, it's Mario, but with this Prince of Persia rewind time mechanic, but with also this narrative. So like, there's a lot of games I've played after that I love, but Braid is just always special place in my heart, just for being like the first puzzle game that just like blew my mind.
I like that the answer is not Baba is you, and it's a little bit of a meme with these interviews. I'll let you know later because it will come up again.
Okay, Baba is you is great, but yeah.
I'm relieved. Favorite non-puzzle video game?
Favorite non-puzzle? I know I'm kind of beating the same drum here. Most likely, Metal Gear Solid 2.
I like that.
Hot off the presses and establishing the narrative that I'm only playing games from years ago. I just beat Red Dead Redemption 2 like 2 weeks ago, and I do think that might be the best game I've ever played. It was pretty phenomenal.
I don't like that.
Oh,
Adolf Frog, when we finish the interview, we need to talk.
Okay, that's great. I can be silent for the rest of the interview. I'm totally fine.
No, I need you. I need you talking. But you might be grounded. Just saying.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
But actually, I'm interested. Why do you think so? Because I think totally the opposite. So I would like to hear you and understand someone who what is it in the game that you like?
Oh yeah, I can talk about it a little bit now. I think it's I like open world games, but as I run short on time, I kind of speed run them probably faster than I should and don't kind of appreciate all of the things going on in them. And Red Dead, I think, is like the only open world game I played recently where like I hit a point like halfway through, and I'm kind of playing it with my wife. We pass the controller back and forth. Where I'm like, oh, I actually want to do all of these side things like play poker and go camping and go hiking, and I actually can get back to the main story later, and I'm not just trying to rush through the story. And so yeah, I world game in recent memory that's made me like explore all of the systems and be engaged by all of them instead of feeling like some of them were just kind of like fluff, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't need to go play blackjack or something like that.
Okay. I like the answer, but I still think different. Yeah, not for me to say my opinion about that here now. It's not the moment.
Oh, that's totally fair.
But yeah. I understand what you say. I understand. And my very last question in this blog, I might have to read the question is quite short, but I might have to read it twice. So yes, we've lost Frog. I might have to wait a moment. Frog, croak if you are there. Luke, can you hear me? Luke?
Yeah, I'm getting some audio issues on my end. It's a little choppy.
Are you listening to my voice?
Yeah, I'm still here. The audio is a little choppy though.
Are you listening through the stream?
No, I'm listening through the video.
Frog, are you with us?
I just came back. I lost hearing everything, and then I only heard us talking about connection issues. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I have the stream muted. But yeah, I couldn't hear anyone for a while there.
I thought you got angry and rage quit.
Well, that too. It was just conveniently. I also disconnected apparently.
My last question in this blog, it's short, but it takes some time to process. So the question is, why blueberries are red when they are green?
Why blueberries are red when they're green?
It might be the hardest question, not in this interview, but in your whole life. Why blueberries are red when they are green?
I have no idea, and I'm also colorblind, so I don't know what any colors blueberries are.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask about that later.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, that's a stumper.
So they are called blueberries because they are kind of blue, but when they are young, they are not ripe. It's called they are green. It's early in their life, but they are color red. So why are they called blueberries if they are red when they are green? I like to ask these mysterious questions. And
Okay.
every interviewee has one. So don't worry if you don't have an answer. That's normal. There are things,
I don't think we have an answer on that one. It's a stumper.
but good to think about. There are things in life that they don't have an explanation. This is the end of
Life's greatest mystery, the blueberry.
this is the end of the first blog. A little for ice break blog. Now that we are a little bit into the interview, I would like to talk about you as developers. This is part 2, and how you decided to become a video game developers. Why a puzzle game? How you two get to meet? So all these questions. For a start, Iceblinked, which is the name of the studio, is the two of you.
Yep, just the two of us.
Okay. Do you have specific roles?
Yeah. So A Tall Frog is on the art side. I do the code side. We kind of put our heads together for the the music and sound effects side of things, and then design is completely co-designed.
Design as in puzzle design or general design?
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing. The whole design of how the game should be, making levels, that kind of thing.
Like, project managing, like, because some people confuse design with art, but there are different kinds of design.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's like what Lou said, split between game design, art, development, and all of that stuff.
Is it your day job?
No, it's not. I work in games in my day job, and then this is like the side working on games job.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't work in games for work prior to working on this game. So this was kind of like the first real go at it.
Mm-hmm. So for Lou, this is your first game. For you, Atoll
Yeah.
Frog, is this Slugtrip your first game?
It's the first one where I've done these kind of things. Like I've worked on other games before, but it was as a programmer, and so this is the first one. I've always been interested in design, and I like doodle all the time. So getting to do the art and co-doing the game design were like big things on my wish list to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. The previous experience was with other people or was for you? So this is first for Iceblinked.
Yes, yeah, like yeah, I worked at other companies previously. This is the first Iceblinked game.
Okay, so it's your first baby.
Yes.
Why did you decide to become a video game developer? AKA, why did you do this to yourself?
Lou, did you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, ever since I played games as a kid, I always had the thought of I'd like to make one at one point. And as I got older and went to school, I got interested in computer science and programming and that kind of thing. And still, at that point, was very interested in trying to make a game, but it just didn't really happen. Finished up school and kind of got more of a standard kind of corporate series of jobs. And then here in just the past year and some change, things lined up where we both had the opportunity to kind of put our heads together and see what happens.
And then mine is like I've always wanted to work in games. Specifically, I normally have been doing it on the programming side of things. Right out of college, I did do a couple very basic Flash games and an early Unity game while I was trying to just build up post college experience to make my resume look a little better while I was applying to places. And then it just kind of happened that like late last year, we were both kind of available to work on something. We both wanted to work on something, and there was enough of a split on what we wanted to do that it all just kind of fell into place.
Frog, you studied programming? I understood that correctly?
Yeah, I had a weird degree where it was kind of a mix of stuff, but programming and graphic design, and it was kind of a hodgepodge degree.
So my follow-up question was, did you two like have some previous studies, or are you self-taught, like doing things by yourself and kind of?
Yeah. So from a coding, like from a programming point of view, I have a lot of experience doing that stuff, but not really within the field of game dev. So that was definitely a bit of learning there. I had done some really small kind of bare bones game stuff while I was back in school, but that was a good handful of years ago. But yeah, so no stranger on the programming side, but definitely a stranger to a lot of the nitty gritties of coding specifically for games.
Mm-hmm.
But then for the kind of the bigger picture stuff, in terms of designing a full game and all the pieces that go into that, definitely was a learning experience and first go around with Slugtrip.
I was going to say, because now that you say that you have previous experience programming, I was thinking it's interesting that Atoll Frog has a programming background but does the art, and Lou does the programming. But I didn't know that you had previous experience with programming.
Lou is easily the better of us as a programmer. So I think just understand, like I can do a lot of stuff specifically game related, but I have a very short attention span and want to do everything. So Lou dove into the programming stuff, and I was able to kind of do these other side interests that I kind of like have just as much as programming.
And also, I can't draw like at all. So
Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect.
And I know you are set in the US, but you are in different time zones. One is west, one is east. How did you get together? Like you met at some point and you decided, hey, we can do something together. How did this
so
happen?
yeah, with Slugtrip's development, we actually haven't seen each other since we started working on it, which is kind of wild to think about. But yeah, the entire development of this game has been done, digitally, just mostly over Discord calls and Discord, IMs, that kind of thing.
Prior to the development,
Sorry, go ahead.
say again.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to add to that. But yeah, Lou and I have known each other also before this game, and that's how we initially got together. We've been friends for a really long time, so that's how we initially met, and then we just both wanted to do a game at this time.
I was going to ask about that. Like before starting development, how did you two meet? And then the decision to make the game came later. What motivated you the most? What was like the? It's hard. I always have problem explaining this question. The question is, what motivated you the most to develop Slugtrip? But what I mean is, what were you thinking? Like, I want to prove myself that I can make this. I want to prove myself that I can do this at a certain level of quality. I just want to have something in the market. I want to do a game for my kid. I don't know. What's the reason that motivated you to make this game?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think for me, it's just like I've always loved games, and I've gotten to work on one side of it, but I've never got to touch on the other things that I wanted to do. And I just specifically I love indie games, and that's what got me into wanting to make games. And so I always wanted to take a crack at that. And then also just there are just so many things I have a very specific sense of humor that Lewin lines up with. We have very specific sets of references. We have sets of games that we like the puzzle games, and it's just all of these things kind of rolled in together to make sense to make this one. Because obviously it would be great if it took off and everything, but the big motivator was I wanted to make something that I was proud of and have fun doing it, and do something that I hadn't really done before. And so those were kind of the big motivating factors for me.
Yeah, I think to add to that, it was also to make something that we kind of had the full control, full agency over, the entire package. Everything is how we want it to be, as best as possible. There are time constraints and everything, but as best as possible, it is trying to make sure we fulfill the vision that we saw, and it's totally undiluted.
Did you have? This is not on my notes. Did you have some expectations? Did you come to the project with project managing mindset, and you said, we have these goals, we have this time to develop the game, we have to stick to this?
So I think first and foremost, the goal was to make a game in the first place, but we did have some notion of timelines, just because the unfortunate reality is that the Iceblinked dev budget is not the Silksong dev budget, so we don't have an infinite runway financially, but we were fortunate in that we had a nice amount of time to kind of really give it our all. Now, as far as expectations go, I think that's a bit of a tough one, because we did kind of carve ourselves into a more niche area in making a kind of grid-based puzzler, but it's what we're passionate about putting together, and also with it being our first game, working on our first game together, it felt like, compared to some of the other ideas that we were bouncing around too, easily the most tractable one as an initial game.
How long did it take to make Slugtrip?
Go ahead and talk.
A little over a year, all things told, and like there's a lot of stuff in between that, like time spent forming the actual company and stuff not directly related to the game, but like important for the game to exist. But yeah, I think the initial talks were last September, and yeah, so last September to now.
I'm used to games taking 5 years in the industry in general, not puzzle video games. It sounds like really short every time that everyone says. I think it happened with Jagriff, previous interviewee. He said like a little bit over 1 year, around 2, and it feels like too little time. Did it take longer than you expected?
Forever. But yeah, it is very surprising how even like the simplest games, like you can be like, oh man, I could work on this for another year, given the time and the budget. I definitely hear you. It's 1 to 2 years is a tight timeline for any game for sure.
Leave it for Slugtrip too.
Yeah.
Did it take longer than you expected or shorter? Kind of you already answered, but
I feel like it was pretty much on the mark. We were kind of hoping for around a year, and calendar wise, it's a little over a year, like a year and some change. But it was with those extra things that we kind of just had to learn and pick up along the way, pretty much close to a year. I'm very happy with it.
And
yeah, it's interesting. There are individual tasks that I would say sometimes took longer than I thought they would, but as a whole, we still managed to stay in the timeline. So I don't know if that was just fortune or we were just background project, like our subconscious project managers were keeping us on track, but it all worked out.
That's the thing that I thought about when Lou said we wanted to do our thing. I was thinking, that's a lot of people think that way, like they are working for someone else and they think, I wish I could do this myself, I would do it in a different way. Some people, luckily they are able to splint from that, like branch out or separate from the main job and do their thing their way with their time management and everything. So good. You are working separated because you are in different coasts. How or the question would be, what is the biggest challenge from working not in person?
I mean, really, I think it's been very smooth sailing. Like maybe every once in a great while the time zones just don't line up, and we could have gotten something done the night before instead of the next day, but it really has not been an issue at all. It's been very smooth sailing.
Good, great. Anything to add at all, Frog?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm the one on the West Coast, so I feel like the biggest hurdle is Lou's awake working on the game and I'm sleeping in, and then I wake up and I get to hear all these cool things that are in the game, and then I'm like, okay, great, I'll look at all of this in 2 hours after I've had my coffee and wake up.
And the same thing goes, the Tall Frog sometimes will be adding stuff for in my time very late at night, and I'll wake up in the morning and see the kind of new stuff that was added.
Being in Australia, I know how it feels, but exponential. It's usually the US making news, and when I wake up one day later, for me it's one day forward, but it's like in one day later, I wake up in the morning watching US's news the day before. It's like, oh, it's all news, but it's breaking news.
Yeah.
It requires some mind adjustment.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I can imagine any kind of time zone switch. Always, I like when we were talking about this interview. I just had to keep thinking like a day before, and also a different time. Like that. So, yeah, I can definitely see that.
This is the end of part 2. So this was about the studio and they as developers. I like this part because it's not directly related to the game, but I like you to share your experience, where you come from, how did you get into this situation. For anyone who's thinking about, it could be new people, young people coming fresh out of the school, or it could be like people who have their secure day job and they have some spare time, they want to get into this. So for you sharing this, and for you all interviewees sharing this experience, I think it's very valuable to everyone, not everyone, but everyone interested in giving it a try. It is possible. You don't have to exclusively come from a how should I say academic background. So it's possible. Thank you for that. I would like now to start the game block, which will show the game, and we'll talk about absolutely every aspect. I'm starting it, so give me a second. Slugtrip.
Yeah, sounds good.
Change scene, and we go here. So this is the moment of truth. I'll put your work to the test.
Oh, okay. This is your first time opening it. I checked it this morning. Everything was good to go. But it's the rule of having more people observe your tech. There's always going to be an explosion.
Mm-hmm. Do I need to update or anything? I updated yesterday or this morning. I don't
That
remember.
should be good to go. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why my Steam opens the game and then it closes it and it opens it again. And it's a me problem. It's not programming, or it's not a game problem. It's a me problem. It happens with most, not all, but most of games. I don't know why. And I googled it and didn't find a solution for this. So I just go with it. There are worse things in life. This game contains dynamic patterns and brief sequences of blurred colors with modulated audio that may induce seizures or motion sickness in a small percentage of players. Please stop playing immediately and consult a doctor if you feel disoriented or are otherwise experiencing any abnormal physical symptoms. If you or anyone in your family is prone to epileptic seizures, talk to a doctor before playing. And then I click. Okay. I had to click 2 times. That's you. Hey, mom, I'm on TV. Play settings and exit. So this is voices?
Yeah, that's the sound effects and
Sound effects.
voices.
And this is master?
Music. Second one's music.
Music. Then what's this?
That's your audio device.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference.
Oh yeah, so that bottommost one is the audio device, like which audio, like whether it's the headset or speakers and plugged into the computer, and then the one up from the bottom, the second one from the bottom, the music notes, that controls the music volume, and then the speaker above that, the third one from the bottom, controls the sound effect.
Oh, the input. You mean the input?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
the input.
I get it. I thought it was kind of master volume. Okay. So I want this lower because we need to listen to each other. We'll talk about the music later, and I'll put it a little bit higher later. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, go back and then play. I'll say again, if someone missed, this is not the demo. Is the demo still available?
No, we took the demo down just because we made a lot of changes to it, and because we're just a two-man team, unfortunately, we just don't have the time to support and update it and make sure all the save data stuff is supported. So we made the choice to take it down. But yeah, this is our current playtest build. So this is the latest of everything.
Okay, WASD or the arrows. So this is a puzzle game, of course. How could it be otherwise? And what I'd like to say and mention, it's a sliding puzzle. So you move by sliding. It's not directly move. Let me check. So we go now. We can go number 2 and 3, right? But we can also move forward. I understand.
Yeah, and
Oh, go ahead, Lou.
sure, yeah. In this build, we did set things up so that those roadblocks can be unlocked much more quickly in case you want to advance farther a little more quickly. But in the real game, it's kind of a little more carefully constructed, where you have to hit a certain number of levels in the waypoint before you can go, as opposed to just beating one in each waypoint.
Okay, I'll go slow, and if you want me to go faster, you'll tell me. If you want to, if you're especially interested in showing something to the viewers, you let me know. Otherwise, I'll go one by one. I'm sorry, I'm a perfectionist. I need to do this way.
It's all good.
I'll explain a little bit of the mechanics, but because I know I will do an awful job, you correct me. This is a sliding and also pathfinding, because you don't move. If you move to the right, you don't move one square, you move all the way until you hit something, like for example I just did. And it's a pathfinding because you have a limited number of moves. You can't roam around the level as much as you want. You have at the top left, you have these green bars. They represent your moves. So every time you touch a tile, you leave a trail of goo. I'm not an expert on slugs, so might be it might have a specific scientific name, but bear with me. And
all of that's good. We bounce back and forth freely when we're talking about it in dev. It's goo, slime, mucin I think is technically the right one, but goo and slime works great.
I want to change the music because you are sounding a little bit low. The music is covering you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here. Can I change that here? So I don't want to turn it off completely. No, this is the speakers. My microphone, no, I have to do it here. Okay. I'm sorry to do that. I feel very sorry, but I need you. I need to listen to you.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll come back and play some sections. If music is world related, or is it? I think it changes when it's like different tracks. How is it?
Yeah. So there is a general vibe that's consistent for each environment, but it does the type of music that's played in each environment you visit is different.
I did something wrong. So this is telling me to undo. Undo is with set or C, U or back. How is it called?
Yeah,
Backspace.
backspace.
Backspace. My keyboard is in Spanish. I don't know.
Okay.
To me, in the keyboard says retroceso.
Okay.
Something that I would like to say, to tell you, that it took me some adjusting when I was playing for the first time. Like you now with this move, I've used three of my goo slime bars, but it's the trail that I leave behind. Whereas while I was playing, I was thinking that the one I'm taking, it's also used. So it took me some adjusting, some mind. Like I would.
Yeah, so the way we explain it is like every time you leave a space that doesn't have slime in it, you spend a slime to leave that space. So instead of spending slime when you enter a space, if you just think about it, every time you leave a space, you drop a slime.
And then if you go over a space that already has slime, you don't use twice. You don't overspend.
Correct. You got 3 moves. You can be moving all over the place as long as there's slime on it.
So if I move now to the right, I'll be using 1, jumping 2. So 2, 3, and nothing on the one that I'm standing.
Correct. Like eventually you're going to have to spend slime on it, but it's not represented in the UI because you haven't left that space yet.
Yeah. So I'll be using 3. Okay, and I have 1 left. So now I don't have any. I'm standing here as much as a slug can stand, and I can't move.
He's just a sad boy. He can't move. He's all spent on the slime.
Okay. So when you run out of moves, you stop. And that's what happened here. That's what this level is teaching. It's like you don't need to stop in the on the exit tile, on the mushrooms tile, because you hit something, which is something
so like
that
you don't automatically stop if you hit the mushroom. You'll keep going because the rules of that slug are you move as far as you can until you hit an obstacle or you run out of slime. So that second puzzle is basically teaching that sometimes you need to basically our dev phrase is burn excess slime so that you can just land on the mushroom because otherwise you'll overshoot it.
I like that. I like this level design, and when I saw that, it's okay. This is going to be a good game because
thank you.
because it's, I don't know. I'm used to I play a lot of games in a year, a lot of demos. I see a lot of things, and when you see this kind of, I'm telling you without explicitly telling you with words, but it's explicit because you are experiencing it. That clicks, and I see, okay, now we are talking. Now I'm listening. I'm intrigued. This is my favorite question. I'll go straight to it. Always, this is my number 1 question. How do you design the levels? How did you do your process for level design?
Yeah. So it's a lot of iteration. It's a lot of trying things out, seeing if they work, in playtesting, and then not being afraid to just totally scorched earth, scrap levels entirely and make something new, try and tweak an existing level. But it really is a lot of kind of careful trial and error.
Yeah, to kind of add to that, it was we initially started because our puzzle references are kind of like really difficult puzzle games, like Steven Sausage Roll. I feel like starts pretty intense. But we had some people playtest it who are not as familiar with puzzle games, so we wanted to, and also just to kind of spoil a little bit, it's as you there's different slugs in the game that all introduce different mechanics, and so we wanted to kind of keep the difficulty curve more gradual. Oh, you got a collectible. Yeah. So our game story, just a side note, the game story is told through these like little collectibles. So while there's no cutscenes or anything like that, to kind of give you the road trip feel that your character's going on, we show different photographs from the journey or different props from like the different slugs have and stuff like that. But yeah, to put a pin on the design, it's just, yeah, it's we really wanted to, it's great that you were able to say that we're kind of like teaching you while you play, which was absolutely a big goal of ours. We wanted as few tutorial screens as possible.
Yeah, I mean that us both playing Steven Sausage Roll was probably the biggest inspiration for that. Is really trying to lean on the player to make those discoveries and kind of have those aha moments.
Vedanta Pioneers says Atofrog is echoing. Let me check that.
Time so that you can just land on the mushroom, because otherwise you'll overshoot it. We are in a cave, so it might be that.
I like this. Oh, one question.
Intense. But we had some people playtest it who are not as familiar with puzzle
Yeah,
games.
it sounded
So we
pretty
wanted to, and
solid
also
the
just to kind of
past
spoil a little.
couple of stretches there, but maybe it was a little earlier. There was a little more peaking.
But not right now.
Right now, am I sounding okay?
A little bit
No
low.
peaking there, but it sounded very quiet.
Little bit low.
A little bit low. Okay.
On the staging from the static image to the game. For both. For both. I'll keep going and I'll check. So you say yeah. Not me. You are not listening to you are not listening to me through the stream. You are listening through the Video Ninja, through the website, right?
Correct.
Yes.
You don't have
Yeah.
that double audio. It's strange because it's not looping. The sound is not looping, and you are not together, so voice is not crossing either. So you said the level design, a little bit of trial and error, but when you make, for example, this level or the previous one, where it teaches you that you don't need to stop yourself, you can stop by running out of slime. You were designing this level with an intention, like you have something in your mind. I want the player to experience this and go through this series of moves to find the solution.
Definitely, yeah. It's kind of like how can we drop breadcrumbs and kind of drip feed how the specific mechanics can keep building. That's, I guess, zooming out a little bit, that is a major goal for this game, is to have a very small number of mechanics and then try to explore them, basically as far as we can. And we're getting kind of an initial slice of the mechanics seeing this first slug, and we'll see how the mechanics kind of expand as we get more slugs in the mix.
This series of moves.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting problem too, because like, especially as we get to like, I mean, we haven't gotten to the 2 slugs yet, but some of the stuff is it's kind of tough to describe. Like, okay, well, you move this way, and then if you cross slime, it does this thing. But a lot of the puzzles, especially later in the game, become movement related. We actually had to kind of create a spreadsheet and come up with like a shorthand to say like this mechanic, this slug tech does this thing. Have we done this yet? Have we done this combined with this thing yet? And kind of have our cork board of like, we haven't done these two things together yet, but we did show them this in a previous puzzle, so maybe we can make this a little harder now, because like now we have this thing added. I'm talking ambiguously because we haven't gotten to some of that stuff yet, but it was very much like kind of trying to be able to vocalize as best as we can all of the different nuances to all of the different three slugs, because they all behave differently, and then trying to just do every single combination of mechanics that we could think of in a way that felt like we weren't throwing you into too much. Like it was just the right amount of difficult. We didn't want to throw anyone in the deep end or anything like that. We wanted general gradual difficulty curves.
And it's a delicate balance too, because if you go too far with it, you run the risk of kind of over like just pushing the same mechanic too much. So our hope, we can't be the judges of that, but our hope is that we've hopefully hit that balance of giving enough to the player for them to learn and internalize the mechanics, but not so much where they feel like that particular mechanic's getting stale. And then the nice something I'm very happy with how the game's turned out is that as slugs are introduced, the mechanics that you've become familiar with, you kind of have to re-evaluate in different ways.
With each slug itself, or because you combine different abilities, you mean?
Yeah, because you combine them when they're together. There's a lot more just in the kind of like there's way more possibilities.
Let me check the sound.
And as we get more slugs in the mix.
This series of moves.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting problem too, because like especially as we to add to that too, kind of like an interesting problem that specifically came out of Next Fest, as we were seeing, like we have this slug who has very unique movement rules, but we feel like our game like really opens up when you start getting like the 2 and then later 3 slug puzzles. You see them all on the splash screen. So it was important that we had everyone internalize the rules of the first slug, but we really wanted to get them to the second one sooner. So to lose point about kind of like not wanting to feel like people were grinding it out, we actually cut some of the one slug levels so that you could get to like what we think is like the next step up with that second slug a little sooner, hopefully, because we thought this slug was great and had a lot of fun puzzles we had around him, but like we feel like the game takes it, like it really opens up once you get to that second slug, and then it basically changes genres in a little bit when you get the third slug, who actually introduces some kind of like Sakaban pushing style stuff.
The demo had 2.
Yes,
right?
yeah, we did not show the third one off beyond the splash screen in the demo.
It had this one, the blue one, and the second one, I think it will be this, the next we'll find, which hops a little bit, but it's still pathfinding. I didn't get to the Sokoban, so that's why I didn't mention it's also a Sokoban game.
Oh no, it's
I
good.
didn't
Just
see
giving
that.
people a little bit of a taste, giving people a little bit of a taste of like the fact that the game kind of changes a little bit as you get different slugs and kind of builds on all of the mechanics.
I can hear you perfect. A little bit low at all, but there's no issue like quality sound. Let me check what viewers can hear.
Well, you move this way. Okay, sure. Yeah, let me know if you need me to talk or anything. But a lot of the puzzles, especially later in the game, become movement related with mechanic. This slug tech does this thing. Have we done this yet? Have we done this combined with this thing yet? And kind of have our cork board.
It does sound with echo, and I don't know why. It does sound with echo. And I told you before we started the stream that sound issues are the worst when streaming. So why is that happening? Because I'm getting your voice through Hello, Noru. I'm getting your voice through the browser, and from nowhere else. I'm not watching the stream. How can I be getting double sound? Setting is same as previous interviews. This wasn't a problem. And I know for sure that I don't have double audio.
Yeah, I wish I could offer more assistance. I'm definitely not an audio guy.
Monitor only. So I can. No, I'm not hearing your voice. I'll try this option. Monitor only, but this way only I can hear you. Let me check.
Okay.
Let me check. So say your names.
A tall frog.
Boo.
And now I'll check. And now I'll check. Let me check.
Okay.
Let me check. So say your names.
A tall frog.
Boo.
Monitor and output. Now it's the same because I changed to an option that I'm not listening to your voice through the stream, but which is the correct one. Try again.
Check 1, 2.
Testing.
Still the same. If I say monitor off, which is the correct one, now say hello, for example. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hello. 1, 2. Testing.
What if I turn the speaker off? Let's try this way. I think that's the problem. But then I'm muting the game completely, which is already mute because I can't hear your voice with the music of the game. Okay, let's try this way. We can continue.
Okay.
So you have some single slug with G, Noru with G, discarded, but you haven't had a purpose for it. Like, for example, there's this is the game, but if you finish it and you want more, you have these extra levels that are harder difficulty, which is composed by some previously discarded levels that were still interesting, but they didn't fit somehow in the player progress, like how they understand the game, how they discover the mechanics. Is this in the game? Like,
I think to a certain extent. So we are seeing kind of an accelerated setup in the environment screen where those roadblocks are unlocking just by beating a single level in every waypoint. But we try to make it so that you have to beat a certain number, and we kind of use our best judgment. You have to beat a certain number of levels in each waypoint before you can progress. With the intention being that in beating at least a subset of the levels in that waypoint, you'll have learned the things you need to learn to be productive with the game, as you keep playing it.
Yeah, and it also just kind of gives you a pool of levels to go back to if you get stuck on some later ones, if you skip some, and then also for completionists, we got the collectibles. So if you want to beat everything in a waypoint, hopefully you're excited by a new little trinket or picture that you unlock that kind of tells you more about your little slug crew.
Yeah, I guess we weren't explicit about that, but yeah, those collectibles in each waypoint, you have to beat every level in that waypoint to get the collectible. So there is a path where you can complete the game without beating every single level in the game. But if you do want to kind of 100% it and get all the collectibles, you have to beat every level.
Does it have I don't think it makes sense in this game, but it doesn't have difficulty levels. The difficulty is standard, like it comes with the levels.
Yeah. It's intended to be kind of a scaling difficulty curve as you play.
Kind of mention I should have started with the story, maybe to have like a setting, but I wanted to go straight to the meat. Tell me about the mechanics, because I'm very interested into that. Is there a story? There is a story, I know, but can you tell me about it?
So initially, this is kind of interesting too, because we initially in the demo that you played, we had a cutscene that kind of got a little bit more into the story, and we got enough feedback on that of like people thinking it was like funny, but like not really, not really vibing with it, or you can see some plays of people skipping it. So we kind of like we're like, well, if people aren't getting the story that way, like what's a different way we can do that that's maybe more engaging? And so we switched to these collectibles. So a lot the story is not super in depth. We kind of want to leave a lot to the imagination. It's the same way you also won't see any of the names for the slugs in the game, because we kind of want people to come up with their own names. And Mael Duin, you're more than welcome. If you've come up with slug names for everyone, we could just use those for the rest of the interview. But like general story is like you do. This guy, Slug One, is just kind of wanting to go on a vacation and meet some of his friends that he's known for a while, and go on a mushroom hunt. So he hops on that first collectible. So there's him hopping on this giant slug bus that's in front of you, that you use to navigate the level environment select screens. And then yeah, he just one by one picks up his friends as he's going on this road trip, and they're all just hunting for mushrooms together.
There is no like setting sequence, right? I skipped it.
No, there's no there's no cutscene or anything like that. We just drop you straight into the game.
Is this guy getting into the bus and joining their friends and having this road trip adventure?
Yes, exactly. And then you can fill in the gaps as far as backgrounds and how they all know each other and everything like that.
So I was curious because I thought I had a level to unlock, but this is the unlockable, like the lock icon. It holds the postcard.
Yeah, the collectible image. Not all of them are images. Some of them are like little trinkets that we show on the different slugs that kind of like hopefully kind of like show you their personalities a little bit more and stuff like that. But yeah, each one you can view all of the collectibles from any one of those menus, but each one is meant to show that waypoint has a specific collectible.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to say, but I hate this level in a good way. in a good way. It took me some time. Probably you didn't notice because I edit the videos, but this is one of those that I can stay here and I mentally do the path and counting and doing my meme with the mathematic formulas.
Mm-hmm.
I remember because it's a shock. It was a shock.
Yeah, so we actually strategically placed this one because of that. Like visually, there's just a lot more to parse with all of the different gaps. You can fully blame me because I think I took the first pass at this one. But yeah, it is supposed to be a little bit more like you've been playing in these relatively contained levels, and it's supposed to be one that gives you a lot of visual information. So you're really thinking about like, what walls do I need to go to? Which order do I need to pick up these slime tokens? Like all of that stuff.
And the progression of the game, the way this is set up, this is slotted as the last level for that second waypoint. And so the roadblock to go to the next waypoint will clear if you've beaten the levels prior to this one. It will clear before playing this level. So if you try this level and get stumped on it, you're not blocked out from playing the rest of the game. You can come back to this level later if you want to, like to unlock the collectible.
once you get to this number 3, you unlock this one. That's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it
I
could-
mean, it's custom. It can be custom for each waypoint, like each roadblock. But yeah, basically, once the roadblock has been cleared, which usually is around clearing about half of the levels in the waypoint, it just depends. Then you're more than welcome to go to the next waypoint, play some levels there, that kind of thing. We have a playtester that really gave us some great feedback all throughout the creation of this game. That plays the game very similarly to you, where it's kind of like, nope, have to go in order, no skips, just one every level in order kind of thing.
Let me appreciate Cypher for the feedback for the sound. It seems to be fixed, and it's because I'm muting the sound coming from the game. I have it on mute anyway, but I can hear the sound effects because I'm playing the game, but I think on the stream there's no sound from the game. Just everybody knows. I had to mute it. I'll unmute for when we talk about the music. And that point, I guess you'll be icon, but just for that section. And related to that last related to that last bit, mouthful. Are you worried that players will skip some levels that they are meant to teach some moves, skill slash knowledge about how the game works, so that they go forward in the game and they are missing those skills? Like you can
Yeah.
skip
So
this number 4, but it's not mandatory. I think but you can do 1 and 2 here and move forward. But maybe there's something interesting teaching the player in number 3, so you are doing both things. You are giving them the ability to skip that and move forward and keep playing, seeing new characters, new environments. But at the same time, you are creating the situation where they don't have this knowledge that they will need to apply. Or maybe you have covered this situation and this, oh no, this is enclosed. This ability is used in this level, not used in later ones.
yeah, so those roadblocks only clear when we feel like you've learned most of the key things from a waypoint, and then you can move on to the next one. And then some of the later ones are kind of like the hardest versions of those puzzles. And because one thing we found in playtesting is everyone kind of learns differently. So some people learn best linearly, and some people learn best in kind of like a non-linear fashion. We wanted to keep the level selection a little bit more open, so it's like everyone can kind of learn at their own speed, and levels are repeated, like different things that we want you to understand are repeated enough, just in different contexts, that like we wanted to give different play styles, accommodate them in different ways. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, the roadblocks are definitely a progression mechanism, but we wanted to keep it loose so that people could kind of experience the game and learn on their own trajectory, kind of.
My computer is doing something. Frame rate is not smooth, and I'm sure it's my computer. What do I have open that I can close? I have 20 things open and I need them all. Let's close some tabs. I'll bring them back later. Or maybe what I'll do is close the game and open it again.
Okay.
It definitely is chopping. It's not skipping frame, it's skipping levels almost.
Yeah, it seemed like it was running nice and smooth there just a couple minutes ago.
Oh, now it's okay. Ticket to Slide. I like this is my kind of humor.
Oh, cool. I'm glad. Yeah, there's a healthy amount of puns in the achievement names and everything like that.
Are you dads?
No, but I definitely think we have certain dad humor sensibilities.
Oh yeah.
It's in the
And
DNA.
when you're in that collectible viewer, you can kind of skip ahead and see the outlines of the future collectibles, but
Hmm.
you won't know exactly what they are until you actually unlock them.
I clicked before the arrow, green arrow, thinking it was arrow to skip the screen and go back to the map, but it showed me the outline of this. You can see it's like kind of a map,
Yeah, yeah.
something big, something weird and interesting. Yeah. Here. Or you need to click here. I can move the bus. So the map.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you just click off of the arrows, yeah, you'll be back in the game.
If I click here, it doesn't move. If I click here, yes, it does move. And then with the arrows, I can rotate the levels.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then with space, I select the one. Or with the mouse, select directly.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to do just about most things in the game, in the screens and stuff.
Which engine is the game made on?
Yeah, so this is made in Love, which is it's a framework as opposed to an engine, just with the distinction there being with the framework, it kind of gives you the lower level tools and you can kind of build it any which way you want to, as opposed to being kind of like prescribed to a particular workflow that an engine would have you go down. And that's not to disparage engines in any way. It's just that for my preference with coding and that kind of thing, I much prefer having a lot of control over how everything works, and so the Love framework was a really great fit for that.
Say the name again.
It's Love, Love.
Oh, I thought I misunderstood. Okay. Love. And that's a framework. It's not actual engine.
Yeah, it's a framework. So just there's a lot more coding involved, but it gives you a lot more control over all the pieces.
It because I am an ignorant, and maybe I represent many people. What's a framework?
Sure, yeah. So a framework compared to an engine, so a framework is more of like a bunch of building blocks. So it gives you tools like for how to draw an image to the screen, how to render text to the screen, how to play sounds, that kind of thing. But then beyond those kind of bits and pieces that you would need to make a game, it doesn't get in your way at all. So it kind of like hands you a tool belt and then says, okay, you make the rest of the game. You do the rest of the thing yourself.
Hmm.
Compared to like an engine setup. With an engine, you're getting a full blown editor, like a full blown user interface on how to a lot of clicky kind of how to do things in that specific engine. And if your game fits the particular mold, the engine is well catered to make games in that particular style, then you can save yourself a boatload of time. But when you kind of want to deviate a little bit or have a little more control, uh, my stance is that engines can kind of get in your way. But again, that's not to disparage engines. They definitely have their place. Just for my preferences and workflow, I much prefer having that control that a framework would give you.
Hmm. Noted. And we talk about the mechanics, but I'll go back to that when we find the second. Probably I'll skip this because we've
Yeah.
seen
Well, we
this
wanted to keep it
slug
open
already.
so you can just bump over.
Since we can move forward, um, here in this environment we find the second one.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look. And I already asked about players missing out on content because you can skip ahead. Since you're talking about the engine, there seems I'm curious about this because as a player, I know nothing of making games. As a player, it's it's something very common to have undo and redo and reset these kind of things in a puzzle game. It's very common. It's like it's not common. It's like also almost even mandatory. But at the same time, I've seen this year for some reason many puzzle games that have struggled to implement this mechanic or option for the player properly, and they crash and they bug and they don't reset properly. One, did you have problem implementing this mechanic? And second, because you are doing it on this framework, it's not something that comes out of the box with, if it can come out of the box with the engine, like there's an option that drag and drop almost. I know nothing, but I don't know if that's the case. How easy or difficult was to implement?
So it's definitely a tricky problem. So we take an approach in this game that, ideally is totally transparent to the player, but behind the scenes, when you undo in this game, um, the sequence of actions that you input up to that point are very, very rapidly and ideally undetectably quickly replayed up until that very last action that you just undid. And so all the animations, all the visual stuff is skipped. That's not done at all. But the kind of under the hood state and everything for the characters and the slime on the board, all that kind of stuff is maintained in stepping that sequence again. And that is a bit of a giant hammer approach to the problem, but it works really, really well because you get to sidestep those issues you're talking about where you undo, but maybe maybe a slime puddle is still hanging around when it shouldn't be, or maybe a animation is off or something, that kind of thing. So we take a pretty simple approach that fits this style of game where the levels are pretty small. We take this approach of basically replaying the sequence except for that last action, but all very quickly behind the scenes, under the hood, just when you push the undo button. And for for games that are much more involved, like huge sprawling levels, that type of approach would not work out because replaying that sequence of actions would be very expensive. Like it would take a lot of computing time to do. But with our game being smaller in scale, like not massive and sprawling levels, that type of approach works really well, and it lets us sidestep all of those issues.
That is for undo. So when you undo, you don't undo because it's a good question. What's actually undoing? Or Q and E to change character, because now we have both. Okay.
Yep.
It's a good question to. I don't think there's one single answer to what is undo. You know the end result, but you don't know the process. And because different games they work with different tools, the solution, as you said, is different in each case. As to I imagine there is like an elf behind the screen taking notes of my moves, and there is a list. And then when you undo, you maybe I'm biased because I watched a talk about someone talking about their game, and they call it state recording states, something like that. And it's like you are recording a video, and when you undo, you go back like one chapter back. It's like it's been recorded. What you are saying is that you are not recording the state of the level. You have a list of moves and you are reversing what the player has done. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, so it's like if the elf had that list of moves, when you hit undo, they would erase the bottom one, the bottommost one. But then the catch is that behind the scenes, they would replay from the beginning, from a clean slate, replay all those moves that you just did up until that last one that was undone. Just you don't see that replay happen because it just happens instantaneously.
That is if I reset now and then undo. Okay.
Yeah. So you can undo across
I understand.
restarts and stuff.
I see.
Yeah, because we noticed some playtesters were accidentally doing that, and we didn't want them to lose their, especially when the puzzles get really chunky and you're like 30 moves in. You don't want to accidentally just undo all of your progress.
My opinion is that if it for your game, I wouldn't be mad if I can't undo a reset because the size of the levels, it's manageable and they don't require 100 moves. I think at least up to the point where I've played or I know. Some of the games they take a lot of time, and if you have to, it's tedious. Not every game does undo a reset, and when they do, it feels like, oh, you are god level because you don't just implement it undo and redo. Redo it's necessary, I think, because otherwise you softload. But undo is not always implemented. When you do undo, it's thumbs up. When you do undo and you can undo a reset, it's like you went beyond the what someone could ask.
That's great
These
to
are
hear. Yeah, it definitely feels way more convenient having that, even just in our own playtesting, of the game. It's very nice to have.
Yeah, and we wanted when we were doing, like, we never want to, a big thing about this game is like everyone approaches puzzles in a different way. Like we have some of the playtesters, and like you said, you do this, Mael Duin, like you sit and you look and you count your moves and everything like that. I like to just, if I don't know what to do, I like to just move around and just kind of like see what walls I can hit, where I can move my slugs, and then I get kind of a clearer picture of what I want to do. Like I don't luck into a solution, but I kind of go like, okay, this is kind of how this level plays, and then I can undo and then kind of figure it out. So we wanted to, with the undo and the redo, we don't want to punish people for experimenting, because that's a way that some people solve problems, and that's what puzzles are. They're just like problems that we're giving you, but hopefully they're fun problems. And so we wanted people to be able to kind of like experiment in whatever speed they wanted to. Like, I want to make a move and see what happens. I don't think it's going to work, but I just want to see. Okay, well, I can go back. Or it's like, oh, I've completely gotten to a state in this level and I have no idea what to do. Let me restart. Actually, I think I was in a good state. Let me undo twice and undo that restart that I just did. So we wanted to accommodate like different play styles and never punish people. Never wanted to punish people for experimenting.
I usually don't see if I'm in a good state. Like, oh, I feel I'm getting close. But yesterday I played a demo that surprised myself. I was surprised because I wasn't resetting the whole level. I was having this feeling, and this is not common in me. It's strange. The game is making me do this. And I also yesterday was thinking actually about this that you just mentioned. Puzzle video game players, they are more used to making mistakes without punishment, so they are more less scared of failing than other games like action games when the worst thing you can happen is that you die. And if you die, you have to redo something, reset, you lose some equipment or you lose life. In puzzle games, you don't have life bar, generally. and I found it interesting. Like, no, that's not interesting.
No, I think it's cool. Like, yeah, it's like, and here your characters can go into gaps, but like we wanted it to be funny. Like it's not a punishment. It's not like, oh no, you died. It's just a cartoon Wile E. Coyote, like, oh no, I'm falling, and then you can undo in the middle of the fall if you want to. Like the gaps exist for mechanical reasons, but it's not like fall down this and you have to start this 100 move puzzle over again. Like we definitely don't want that. So it's all just meant to be like very loose, and yeah, just we want people to just play around and have fun and kind of treat it more like a toy box as you're solving these puzzles. And then when you get to the 3 slug puzzles specifically, like you're talking about, like not wanting to fully redo, but like you feel like you almost got it. Like sometimes you'll get 2 slugs on mushrooms, but you can't figure out what to do with the third one, and you really want to just be able to undo a couple of times because you're like, I'm so close. I know what I can do here, but I just need to make like a couple moves a little differently to get this slug where he needs to go. And so the undo, it has the same philosophy throughout the whole game, but again, as the game gets more difficult, it becomes more important that you have those granular ways to kind of experiment with your moves in a way that we're not wasting your time. You can kind of experiment freely and mess around and stuff like that.
With the blue one, I felt like I was doing math. I could cover some of the level, just the blue one, and I was like, oh, if I'm in this position, I need 2. So where can I save two tiles of slime? But now it's like you said. Now we are combining these 2, so now the rules change for the blue one. Blue one is still it's like a math game. Like you need to add up to the endpoint. But now with this one that jumps, it's changing the rules of the game. And
yeah, like so and that's a whole big important part of that whole cave section is just knowing how important walls are to the blue slug, right? Because like he's going to move as far as he can in one direction. Walls are the thing that's stopping him from falling into a pit or whatever, and then all of a sudden we give you a moving wall that can move around, and so it's like, oh, now I can do this thing, but this wall also needs to get to a mushroom at some point, and they're jamming to some cool tunes. So like, and I'm a big fan of asymmetry. Like I'm a big board gamer, and so like having characters that do different things and coexist together, like the story that we have is they're buddies, they all have unique skill sets, they're all helping each other get mushrooms, and it all just kind of like fell into place of like, oh, we all have these slugs where like you could explain any one of their rules in a handful of sentences, and then you get them to work together. Like how many variations of cool things can we have them do without adding any other variables, like no items, no additional obstacles, no additional pickups or anything like that? Like how many things can we do with this slug that always hops 2 and this slug that always moves once in as far as he can in a direction? Like what are all the cool things we can do just based off of that? The movement rules don't change, the inputs don't change. It's just these individual movement rules for each slug.
How do you come up with the mechanics? So it's similar to how do you design the levels, but you have a total of 4 characters and they have their unique ability, their uniqueness.
3 characters.
3.
Maybe if we get to do DLC, maybe we'll come out with a 4th one.
World exclusive.
Yeah.
This is the official announcement. There's a DLC coming.
Exactly.
So my question is, did you come up with 20 different characters and they play different, and then you reduce that amount to the 3 most interesting, or was it a straight decision?
So we started with that blue slug, the first slug. That was the kind of core, I guess, guiding piece of design that we had from the get-go, was doing some kind of twist on the slide puzzle stuff, like sliding puzzle stuff. And we, from that point on, we were just kind of brainstorming different slugs that we could add to the mix. And so I forget the exact number, but we probably had something close to about 7 different unique playing slug ideas that we weren't, totally sure on until we kind of started messing with stuff. But we eventually, or really pretty soon, got that whittled down to 3. And I don't know what it is about 3 in particular, but it really just kind of felt right. Like especially when they're all combined, we might see it here. We might see it today, but when all 3 slugs are in the mix, it can get very complicated. It can get very challenging. And so it felt like going beyond that, like to having 4 slugs, that kind of thing could get out of hand to the point where the player might just get frustrated. So our hope is that 3 slugs is a nice upper bound to make the puzzles manageable, but still very challenging.
It's already challenging.
That's good. That's good.
And it also it has to do with the amount of content. Like with these 3, we can make, let's say, 20 interesting levels. Let's say, which is not the case. But 20 levels, it's too short for a game, unless I don't know. Maybe you can sell it at a proportional price. But for the platform where it's going, which is Steam, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Steam.
That's not what the median user is used to on Steam. So you have to come up with more content, more mechanics. But with these 3, you managed to. How many levels are in the game?
There's about it's over 60. I think the exact number is 62, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's 62 with like an asterisk that like there are a couple puzzles that we're playtesting that if they're good enough, we'll be able to squeeze those in before release.
And something kind of interesting with the just talking more on the playtime side of the fence. So when you first start the game, the initial segment when you're in the cave is intentionally, like by design, meant to be a relatively quick sequence. We don't know exactly how long that's going to take on average for most players, but it's ideally pretty quick, so you can get to this section you're in now, the forest, and we expect players to spend probably at least a couple hours would be our guess in the forest if they're playing, assuming they're playing every level. But then when you get to the final segment, it's very likely that players could spend 4 hours in that segment alone, minimum. Some levels in our playtesting can take, individual levels can take maybe 40 minutes to an hour to solve.
So it's 60 levels, but it also it's related to the difficulty.
Yeah, so it's like, it's definitely like there's 3 environments, right? We're seeing the second environment. This is not like 2/3 into the game, really. That third environment really takes up like a big bulk of the playtime, which is like what we kind of wanted, where we wanted this gradual incline of like, you have these 2 slugs, like this one slug, okay, you're getting the ropes, you're feeling it out, like you kind of understand where he goes, or how he works, I mean. And then you get the second slug, okay, feel that, it's a little harder, things are escalating a little bit. And then you get to this third slug, and you're talking also about like, this 4 slug. Lou actually designed a lot more of the 3 slug puzzles than I did, just because there was a lot of art stuff to do towards the tail end of this. I drove myself up a wall trying to design 3 slug puzzles. I can't imagine. I would do it if it was cool. I would bite the bullet so that people could have fun. But 4 slug puzzles, I think you just need to have a super galaxy brain to design some of those, because these 3 slug puzzles, they definitely tested like every design muscle I had to get these in a way that hopefully feels satisfying to players, like doesn't feel cheap. It's like, no, they're hard, but like we taught you all the lessons, you're good to go, these are the final exam levels, like you'll do fine, you'll get it. So that's really our goal for the 3 slug puzzles, especially, is it's like everything is supposed to be good and fun, and then when you get to those 3 slug puzzles, hopefully it feels like a victory lap where you're like, okay, I'm ready, I've been training, I got it, like let's these are hard, but I can do them. So yeah.
Lucky we have a DLC coming.
Yeah, we'll see how well this one sells. We'll see.
Oh, I'm going on the street with a sign. wishlist or buy Slugtrip. I want to see those for Slug levels.
Okay. Oh yeah. If anyone wants that for Slug, please wishlist Slugtrip. Please
That's
buy
right.
it, play
Yeah.
it. Let us know. Let us know what you want the four Slug to be. Design the levels for us. We'll love to hear all of it.
With it'll be an excuse, but you can do a custom level editor. So you can try your hands with try your luck with the custom level editor, and if there's some interesting levels, they might appear in the DLC. I've stopped here in this level because I think there is something that is required for the player to discover. I think, if I don't remember wrong, and I don't want to show it. I want players to discover how to solve this level. Because I remember
Sounds good. Yeah.
there is a move, a special move that you can do. I don't know if it'll show anyway when we get to the third slug, which I want to see because I haven't seen. I've only seen these two. Oh, the third one is the one that's like a snail.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I've seen it in the trailer. I think pushing
Yes.
the characters. I think.
Mhm.
So I won't finish this level because I think it involves this special mechanic or a special move or intrinsic. I don't know proper way to say it, but I won't solve this one. I want players to discover by themselves. I don't want to spoil everything. I want to
Yeah.
showcase the game, not do a walkthrough. So we go to. We need.
So unfortunately, I don't know that there's. I definitely appreciate the sentiment. I don't know that there's a way to get all the way to to preview that one slug without demoing what you're tiptoeing
Oh,
around. So I'm fine. I'm fine going one way or the other.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
this level has that particular thing as well.
and to go to the next section, I have to finish any of these levels or specific
Correct.
ones. Any.
Correct.
But if 1 and 2 they need this mechanic or this move,
Yeah,
I'm
we could do a
guessing.
scan through, but I think most of them will need that. We can check though. We can.
Well, sorry everybody, this is the end of the stream. For your own good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, to kind of like hint at what you're saying, if we can like hand wave it, there's hopefully, because you're talking about the mathematics of this blue slug, without saying what it is, what we kind of try and teach in those early levels is to like look at a level, you see the mushroom, you see where you want to go, and you're kind of counting spaces a little bit if that works for you, or you're kind of playing it more free form because you know the rules of that slug. The second slug is you know that it always hops 2 spaces. It's always going to hop 2 spaces. It can hop on walls, and that works. So there is an interesting problem when you're looking at certain levels of like, okay, can the slugs get to both mushrooms? And that's not maybe always as cut and dry as some of the earlier levels. So I'll just leave it as like parsing the levels and kind of thinking about where slugs can get to can become an interesting thing and maybe suggesting additional things that you can do in the game.
I'm not sure if that's what I was referencing. Maybe you are going too light on the spoiler thing.
Maybe
wi-
I'm being too opaque.
yeah, without spoiling it, I'll be one step higher and I'll say there is a way to move the blue slug without moving the blue slug.
Okay.
If I don't remember wrong, maybe I'm crossing games and that's a different game, but I think that's.
There might be the slug might be different, but like yeah, the sentiment is the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the other way. It's a
Yeah.
way to move the green one without moving the green one. Yes. Oh no. It's sad. A slug is an it, right? Or is a he? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
so the slugs. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood what you said. The slugs again. It's up to you. We don't tell you the character names or anything like that. So
Mm.
we've had like playtesters have called the blue one Jimbo, and I think like the green one Squant, I think is a name, and Ziwi. People have called that slug like she he like the slugs. It's open to you. So like when you're talking about the game with other people, you can all agree about like what you want their names to be and everything like that. We want you to kind of make the characters your own as much as we can in a game like this.
So I'll go with it. I'll be jumping around. Maybe next I'll say he or she. It's
Okay.
sad. It's sad because it has run out of moves, but it's still singing.
Yeah. The music notes are just a little sadder. It's switched to a very sad song.
Oh, it's headphones.
Yeah.
Headphones. Yes, it's headphones. Okay.
Yeah, and there may be one collectible where you actually kind of learn just a little bit more about what they might be listening.
So now I can go where the previous one has been to. And you put the way you got the levels in order in this order is by I'm teaching you this because you need it later, or like it's very common in other games they do is I I have these 2100 levels, X number of levels, and I have them sorted. So they don't really teach you intrinsicacies, but the solutions they take more moves or they take longer. So they are sorted in this way. So it's an approximation of how hard it is. If I can solve a puzzle in one move, it probably is easier than if I can solve it in 2 or 10. Or if it involves one mechanic, it's easier than if it involves 2 or 3 or 5. So you got this the difficulty curve and the control. Is it a mix of both, or is just regarding mechanics, intrinsic mechanics?
Yeah, so it's I think it's mainly regarding mechanics. So each waypoint, if that waypoint has specific mechanics that it's teaching, ideally the first level, first couple levels are letting you internalize that, and then the remaining levels in that waypoint are not in all cases, but might be harder versions, like taking what you've learned and really trying to apply that. But our hope too is that with the exception of the very very first couple levels in the game, even those levels that are meant to kind of teach you some new mechanic, even those are challenging and not freebies.
Yeah, and then to your point about move count, like Lou said, I think like we have kind of like an informal tagging system of what mechanics we were kind of playing with, and levels that utilize more of the mechanics kind of dictated difficulty. Or if we saw like we feel like we're missing some levels here, like let's look at what mechanics we haven't played with. That was kind of more of a steering of difficulty, and then move count specifically, which we also did track, was like a really good fallback of like we have this pool of 3 levels. They all feel kind of around the same difficulty. They're all kind of playing with similar lessons. Like, what way do we want to kind of loosely order them, even though people can kind of play them in whatever order, but like, which one do we want to present first? Move count was kind of like a good fallback to the other methods we were using to kind of say, like, maybe this one is just a smidge easier, but that definitely is not the end all be all, because there are puzzles later in the game again that are like 10, 20, 30 moves less than some puzzles in the middle of the game that I think are significantly harder.
So it's a mix of
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, you want as much data as you can so you can pull different levers, or if there's ambiguity, you can kind of look at it like through different design lenses of like, oh, these mechanics, let's go on a mechanics basis, like these taggings, let's go on a move count basis with this. Let's go by gut because we've been making the game for, half a year or a year. Like what's feeling like it's more difficult. And one of the benefits we didn't really touch upon of us both co-designing and being a two-man team is like, I don't know. We have different design sensibilities. So when Lou makes a puzzle, I know what we've talked about as a design philosophy, but I'm the first playtester of that puzzle. So like Lou won't tell me how to solve that puzzle. Maybe I know some mechanics that Lou wanted to experiment with. But I'm the first playtester. So like it's very cool having that other person where you can just immediately send them a file that says, play this. Is this good? Like, did you solve this? How long did it take you to solve this? You're still solving it. It's 2 days. Like, what are you doing? So that's also just hugely beneficial, is that you just have that other person who's in the design weeds as much as you are to kind of analyze puzzles and analyze difficulty and all of that stuff.
I'm trying to find a level that it's not showing that, and all 6 involve
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
that
they all do. Yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate it, but yeah, it's like, yeah, you can definitely go back and look at earlier ones or
I think this is
yeah, if I could say
simple.
spoilers so people can close their eyes if we do want to progress ahead. It's I'm fine either way.
Frog. I'll say frog. A tall frog
Yeah.
seems bit long for me.
A tall frog, I'll respond to any of those.
Hey you.
Yeah, that works as well.
Your time to shine, because tell me about the art. What inspired?
Oh yeah. So I could talk about this for forever. I am a
We
huge
have
fan.
almost forever.
Almost forever. Okay, I'll take out 2 things I wanted to say. Both me and Lou are huge fans of like 90s, 2000s Nickelodeon cartoons and some Cartoon Network stuff. And specifically, one of my, not my earliest game experience, but one of my first ones on the Sega Genesis was a game called Toe Jam and Earl. And it's this very trippy, cartoony, fun, very loose style. It's not like as precise as a lot of cartoons, and that goes with like, Ed, Edd and Eddy on Cartoon Network has very loose lines. Hopefully someone gets some of these references, if not all of them. And I just love those cartoons so much. So when it came time to draw stuff, I wanted to kind of represent that, like have that very 90s 2000s feel. And also a thing I liked about those cartoons is things were cute, but then also a little gross. So like, pretty much uniformly everyone says the green one's cute. Everyone loves that one. That's a uniform favorite from a lot of playtesters. And then the first slug, I think he's very cool looking. But then he also has these like tendrily things. They're both laying slime, so it's like a mix of like cute cartoons, but also like, whoa, like it's a little gross. And so that was a very big inspiration. And then also just like the colors and everything like that. Granted, these I'm being pretty loose with what constitutes a cartoon slug, but they are based on slugs that I found in image searching, and specifically the color palettes of each one are all influenced by different slugs that I found. There's the third one. The third slug that pushes stuff around with the shell is specifically based off of a slug that I think had like almost like an iron shell that I saw that I really liked, and he just worked perfect for a slug that liked to smack things around and could push rocks and everything, and the colors were like these really nice purples and stuff. So I took colors from that one, and then but also like I've always been a doodler. I'm not like an artist by trade, so a lot of this was just like very freeform as well. So like before I did this, no real experience with animating beyond like Flash stuff in high school. No real experience with drawing, definitely not drawing all the assets in an entire game. So it was definitely a learning experience where I had all of these references, but I was hopefully not cribbing from anyone specifically. I just kind of like took all of these pictures of slugs that I was seeing, put on music, and then I'm like, I'm just going to draw what's in my head to the best of my ability. So hopefully, even though it has all of these influences, it also has kind of its own unique style. And people jive with it because it's also not really a style I've seen in a lot of puzzle games. So I'm hoping that kind of grabs people as well. Hopefully, people love those cartoons as much as I do. So yeah, sorry, I just talked a lot, but that's all of the art stuff, all of the art sensibilities.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly, yeah. That's how to do art if you're not really an artist.
I guess you get more, I think it's empathic, the word, towards someone who is smiling and happy, like the second one is doing, the green one, rather
Yeah.
than the other one, which is a little bit more serious. I'm more introverted. I'm into my thing, and
Yeah. I wanted every character to have I wanted them to be as unique as possible because like they have unique mechanics. Slug one kind of I picked like he power slides everywhere, so I'm like he's got to be a cool dude. He's got to have sunglasses. Like he's got like he's got to be like because he's just sliding everywhere. He's just like maybe he's kind of like longer. The antenna like maybe like have the wind blow and his antenna hair a little bit. And then the slug 2 is actually because they bounce around. I don't know if anyone will remember these. There are these toys. I don't even remember what they're called, like poppers. They're these little plastic toys that you could put on a table and push them in, and then they would pop up. So the shape of slug 2 is very much influenced by that shape. So, and then I also wanted to give them, just for whatever reason, each one has kind of a human prop. So slug 2 has the headphones, slug 1 has the sunglasses, and slug 3 has a shell that also doubles as a beanie. So I just wanted like because they're all different mechanically, I wanted them all to feel very different personality wise and art wise. I wanted them all their color palettes to be unique, their silhouettes to look different. And then I wanted them to look like they could do the thing that they're doing.
you said you're getting inspiration or based on some slacks that you found. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, like so I'm by no means a slug expert, but I just like in doing preliminary drawings of these and sketching them, I would look at different slugs like on Google image search or read about slugs in Wikipedia and just kind of like one for the color palettes because every slug kind of basically has two main colors. I wanted those to all be from unique slugs. Like slug 2 has these kind of leaf antennas which actually looked like the antennas of one of the slugs, a forest slug that I found, because that was specifically like the slugs in the forest. They live in the forest. I want them to kind of look like a forest slug loosely. So that's why they have kind of these leafy antennae, is because that looked like a forest slug that I had seen. So yeah, so definitely a mixture of cartoon references, but tried to have some loose real world references as well.
You are not going into the woods searching.
No, I'm not going into the woods looking for slugs. I wish I could. I wish I had the time to do that. Unfortunately, I've seen a disturbing lack of real slugs in my life.
um. Okay, that's about the art. Very interesting, insightful. Um, I already asked about length and number of cells. Um, uh, yeah. I told you time will fly by, and I need to speed up my questions. Let's talk about the music. I'm going to risk break breaking breaking something and not being able to hear you. I didn't get this problem before. I don't know why it's happening. Let me put the music back.
Okay.
No. I thought I was going back.
Oh yeah.
This is music and this is sound effects.
Yeah. So bottom one is music. The music. Note.
The other way.
Yep.
What I said, the opposite.
Yeah. The opposite. Sorry.
I think with number one it's enough to hear, but let's leave it at 2. This is sound effects. So who you never mentioned you Frog, you did the art mainly.
Yes.
Lou, you did the programming. Who did the music?
Yeah, so the music in this game is actually from asset packs that we had purchased. We kind of lucked into finding songs that we thought fit the game pretty well. Each environment does have I think it's like a pool of three songs or so specific to that environment that's meant to kind of jive with the slug that you're being introduced to in that environment. And so in the cave, you're hearing kind of more hip hop, cool guy kind of songs to match that starting slug. And when you get to the forest that we were in just a minute ago, it's a lot more poppy, because that second slug, the green slug, is a little more carefree than the first slug.
The music continues from the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always the same song for each environment.
There's three songs for each environment.
Because I was going to say, I think I went back and forth and the music changed.
Yeah. When you switch environments, it'll go to that environment's song, whichever one's next in the order, and then when you go back to the cave here, you'll hear whichever song's next in the cave's order of songs.
The environment, not related to the music, but the environment, these things like the mountain with looks like a flame, and this building, that's told with the unlockables, the collectibles, they tell the story of the environment, what's happening, right?
Yeah, so we tried to give it a road trippy feel. I tried to, in each environment after the first one. So like in the first collectible, you see that the first slug came from what it looks like to be a human city. And he hopped on his slug bus like you do and went to these caves. So in the first environment, you see the city that he came from. Then you go to the forest, and you see the mountain that you just came from. And then when you get to the desert, you see the forest that you came from. So I wanted it to give the feeling like you were on a road trip and you could see kind of where you were coming from. Like the last stage you were in any specific environment. And then also there's not like a Where's Waldo of Easter eggs, but like you can see near that first waypoint, that is the second slug's house. They just chill out in the forest. It's a 3-story house. It's mostly tall because they can hop around everywhere, and they have a trampoline at the base because if they don't want to take their front door, they can just jump out of the 3rd story and land on the trampoline. So I tried to do like as much environmental storytelling as I could, since we weren't really doing like a full story, but to hopefully give the game kind of like a little bit more character, and again just kind of set, just like the music, the art, everything. We just wanted to set each time you found a new slug, you just got a bunch of new stuff to associate with that slug and give it a little bit more personality.
Oh, I've been here. Okay. I've been here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show the 3rd one, but maybe if I just say that you can see it in the trailer, definitely, because I've seen it somewhere. It's not in the game.
Yeah, you can see it on the Steam page. That you see a couple of moves that they make, and then in the new trailer that we put up, we show a lot more of that 3rd environment and kind of very, very intro stuff to what that slug can do.
Okay, that's about the music. I'm so sorry to have to mute it. Not the sound effects, but I have to.
Oh, we're glad you like the music. That's good to hear. That was Lou was very patient with me because I am scope creep person, and I really wanted to do the music, and we just did not have the time for it. So I kept saying, I'm going to do the music this month. I'm going to sit down and do the music this month, and we just did not have the time. And so we just really wanted, but we still wanted stuff that really felt unique to the game and the style, and we landed on some really, hopefully, like, we really liked all the tracks that we picked out, across like the 3 different genres, and we feel like it gives, again, it just gives the game a lot of character, and hopefully they're all kind of put you in the puzzle solving zone.
It does sound like first environment is more like hip hop. Second is more like pop. What can you say about the third one? You mentioned it's like a desert. What kind of music is it?
We're getting into Johnny Cash territory when you get into the third one, so
Mm.
we get some a little bit more westerny sounding stuff.
American West.
Oh yeah, American Western. Sorry.
So it's a desert, but it's kind of like not the Dune set desert, more like
No, like
Far West.
cowboy
Yeah,
Arizona
yeah.
desert. Yeah.
Oh, and then that's the reference to Red Dead Redemption. That's the game is
So
inspired.
actually, if you if you get to that segment, it'll tie in with Red Dead Redemption in a very
Yeah,
satisfying way.
I understand everything now. Okay, I'll try to get to the third one, but I need to rush a little bit. I have 2 things to talk about. One, maybe we can touch slightly because it's related to the mechanics. And I have on my notes to talk about puzzle noise, which maybe it's not very relevant here. You tell me how much it's how can I say modeled the levels or affected the levels, and the other one is the use of space. I'll start with the use of space. Maybe we can skip the puzzle noise if you think it's not very relevant for your game, not very important to talk about. But the use of space, I'll say one thing. I remember when I played the demo, I gave you some feedback, like the level it was too small. Like I had to get close to the screen to see properly. I don't have vision problem, but it was very little, and there was a lot of let me show a lot of margin, like dead space. And now I can see the levels are big and small, but they all like look zoomed in, and that's one thing for the space. The other thing about the space is that maybe we've already mentioned as well. Like levels are not massively big, and they are contained, not symmetrical. If you want to mention something about that.
Yeah, sure. So we initially, when you were talking about the earlier demo version that you played, where things were a little small, the presentation in that demo was kind of showing things at the scale, regardless of the actual size of the level you were playing. We were showing it at the scale as if you could be playing on the max size for the level, which in this game the max size is something like 18 or 19 by 15 tiles. I forget the exact number, but we basically wanted to make sure that presentation of the game, if you were playing a max size level, you could see everything. But in your feedback and other players' feedback from playing it, it really was just a lot of wasted space. And when most of the levels in the game are not these max size kind of monstrosity levels, in fact, we don't have any levels in the game that actually could occupy the full amount of space that we support. There really was just no need to have it be so zoomed out for the common case where you're playing a smaller level anyways. So that was a very, very helpful piece of feedback that we think made the game way better than it was prior. I forget, was there a second part to that question?
How do you use space within the level? Like your game doesn't have 100 by 100 levels. They are contained, and I guess that's tying with the mechanics. So maybe we've already talked about that. But if you had anything you think it's important to mention.
I think the only other thing, I could think to mention about that is like we wanted everything, like Lou said, we wanted everything, every level that you played to fit on the screen. We didn't want any scrolling. Like basically, you have perfect information on the level, and then we wanted them to look fun, but we didn't want a whole lot of noise in the levels. So like we had initially thought about like, oh, can we add all of these like animated deco pieces and all of this stuff, decoration pieces and everything, and it just kind of kept coming back to like, we want everything to be as visually easy to read as possible. Like walls, these are walls do this thing. These are mushrooms, their tiles are a little bit lighter. These are the spots that you need to go to. These are gaps, they're always going to be the darkest colored tiles in the game. And just make it hopefully visually appealing, like with the kind of abstract backgrounds and everything. But we didn't want to detract from the puzzle solving part of it. We didn't want to throw like just visual red herrings at you that were just too much to process. So that was the only thing, other thing I could think about how we just try to design levels, is just we wanted them to be very visually easy to read.
Mm.
And I think from a mechanics point of view, it's really interesting too, because the space of a level, assuming the level is designed as tightly as we intend it to be, the space is kind of a critical ingredient for that level being, hopefully a good level. Because the smaller the space, like if you can work the same idea into a level that is smaller than a bigger level and have that smaller level still be challenging, 9 times out of 10, at least in our experience so far, that's better. That's better than going bigger.
Totally agree. Okay. I skipped one that I said I would mention before, and it's what inspired the game. But I think you've talked about uh, all the inspiration, like the art and how did you decide the music. But I said I'm just mentioning because I said I would mention it. I am mentioning it because there's a meme, kind of a meme in the channel, the stream, that every developer that comes to the stream and or asks me, I say that I haven't played Baba Is You. That's why I said
Oh,
before.
yeah.
I'm happy that it's not inspired by Baba Is You, because I haven't played Baba Is You. No, I still haven't played. Jagriff Jagriff's game, the previous one that I interviewed, my previous guest, Gen to Rescue, it's inspired by Baba Is You, and I, I'm I'm relieved that this is not the case. But I'm mentioning, yes, I haven't played yet. Also, Noru, I said Noru like a year ago. I told him I'm going to play this month, Outer Wilds. Still haven't.
Well, Bob Is You is great. So when you get around to it, it's definitely a good one. Good one to try.
I have to find time, but I don't. I don't manage to. Um, that's one. I'll ask this question next, and my last for this section with the game. Talking about the game, it's that you said you are colorblind, and
Oh yeah.
tying that with what accessibility options have you implemented in the game, or there will be implemented in the final game to make the game not easier but more accessible, which is not the same.
Yeah, so currently we don't have kind of any plans for that beyond what we have. We're definitely like based on feedback, can try and accommodate things as best as we can. Hopefully, me being colorblind, I mean, I picked out all the colors and tried to differentiate everything in the level by multiple things like shapes, different slug shapes, profiles. You have the different HUD icons, and then the levels are pretty stripped back, so like you can recognize like all the tiles that are slimed versus not slimed. So my hope is that for anyone, because I have that problem all of the time when I'm playing games. Like of like games that don't have colorblind modes. So my hope is that because I have it, everything's kind of visually parsable from that standpoint.
Jagriv actually in the chat says I can stick around. Actually, there's the guest question. Guest question comes from Jagriv, so he has two questions for you.
Oh, okay.
I can stick around, but I have a question for later. Have there been issues with levels being too small? In some games, I've found that constraining space can make it quite annoying to move around in a way that the focus is the level. I think interesting question, and we are talking about this. Maybe I'll ask better. It's better to ask this now. Gen 2 Rescue has big levels, not massively big, or maybe the ones I've seen, because I haven't played the whole game, the ones I've seen that they are big comes from the custom level, and it's rather small. You can read the question, right? Or I can make it.
Yeah. We can see it.
You can answer. I think it's better to answer now than later. That's kind of
Oh yeah, for
not
sure.
related.
Lou, do you want to go? You want me to try and tackle it?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of piggybacking on what Lou said earlier, we do have, especially later in this segment, we have some pretty large levels, and those have a very specific goal. Like we both mentioned, Steven Sausage Roll as a big influence. Like Steven Sausage Roll, without spoiling too much, has a level fairly early on that is so much bigger in scope than anything you've seen before, and it is very much like it's initially shocking, but you kind of have the confidence of like, I can do it, I can figure it out, like I can do this. And so we have some of that stuff, I think if you click this one, this is one of our bigger levels. Specifically on the 3 slug, but they never break one screen. And specifically, like once we found that we integrated the 3rd slug, there was so much variability in what those 3 slugs could do together, that, like Lou said, we had big levels and they almost always got smaller to do the same thing, and that always made them better because the levels are important, the level shapes are important. We don't want any fluff to kind of like mislead you in the direction you're going, but the key thing is on how those 3 slugs are interacting, and kind of the closer they are together for the most part, the more the focus is on them as the characters, on they can do these things. This counting the spaces that you have to do sometimes becomes not as tedious. Like even this level is broken up into, like, you can see clear segments by what walls you're going to. So even in the bigger levels, we thought about them as a series of small connected problems. So yeah, the small levels were never a problem for us, specifically because, especially once we got to like those 3 slugs and just like the mechanics that we were experimenting with, the smallerish puzzles always felt more satisfying to solve because they were just much more directly engaging with the mechanics we wanted to show the players.
And a piece of trivia on this specific level here too, like this is one of the larger levels in the game, but even this level was shrunk a little bit.
Yeah.
This been shrunk. I think this was the last one in the demo that I played, and I'm not even trying because it took me some time that I don't have today or right now. I know the trick. I know the trick, and it's tricky, but I won't solve it like immediately. So it was initially bigger.
Yeah, it was, I think, a couple rows bigger. But yeah, this is definitely one of those like final exam levels we were talking about, where it's like we asked you to do a lot of these separate mechanics, but like your management of your movement resources, how the slugs combine together, how one slug can kind of help another one out in different ways. Like these are like the exam levels where it's like you got to do all of it. You gotta think of the best combination to do all of that stuff.
Mm.
And something else real quick to add to the space, the sizing of levels too. Like as we see in this level, there's 3 separate slime pickups, like slime puddles. And what's interesting about that is, if you have a bigger level, you can kind of squeeze the slime puddles in, but we've learned that it depends on the level, but it's not always wise to have puddles if you don't need them. Because it can just make for potentially cheesy solutions or just unsatisfying solutions, that kind of thing. So this level being large, like, and the puddles are, hopefully the intent is the puddles are very, very important. And we don't know of any cheesy solutions to this level. You should need all 3 puddles. That's just something else that's kind of interesting. Like as the game goes on and you get to the desert, the levels are very small. Like they are pretty constrained, and we, for the most part, don't work in slime puddles, because when you have 3 slugs, you have so many options and so much available to you in terms of what you can do.
So with this, I probably will go over time, but it's okay because I prefer like we spend a few more minutes with this. I don't have view every day, and it's I find it very interesting. With the smaller levels, do you find you have to hide the solution because it's too obvious? And that's I think it's called puzzle noise.
So we've had, I think, in very early iterations of certain levels, some noise, and kind of much like, at least through the lens of our game, of smaller levels generally feeling better than bigger levels. The less noise a puzzle has, the better. Like ideally, a puzzle has no noise. So yeah, that's kind of been a goal as we've gone on, and that's something that we kind of learned, I would say, about halfway through the process, that we really don't want there to be any elements in a level that just kind of waste the player's time.
Yeah, and I would say, like, to piggyback off of that, we don't do it a lot. We typically do it in the tutorial levels. But if there is something noise or like a red herring move that we put, and has a very strategic reason, and that doing that action should hopefully indicate to you something, like you should learn something. So like in that second 1 slug puzzle that you played, I know this is way back in the demo, like it's very similar looking to the first puzzle, but you can overshoot the mushroom, and we kind of add a couple of things that make you, like, that kind of lull you into like, oh, I just solved this the same exact way. And so in that specific level, we try and add some elements that hopefully intentionally mislead you from the solution the first time, so that you can actually observe why. Not, we don't want you to like fail the puzzle and laugh at you for failing. We want you to like overshoot the goal and then be like, oh, why did that happen? Oh, because I need to do this thing. So the only times we ever try and add any kind of like what I would qualify as noise or misleading stuff intentionally is specifically because we want you to take away a lesson from it. That we think it's that's the best way to learn.
There is it's very interesting. I would like to talk all day about this, but sorry.
No, it's all good.
There is a very interesting talk from ThinkyCon this year. I think it was day 3. ThinkyCon lasts for 3 days. On day 3, if you have a look and you are interested in the topic of use of space, which is not where the stars are, in puzzle games, there was I don't remember if I watched completely, but I haven't watched completely day 3. I'm still watching, but it's very interesting, and it talks. Don't remember who. I think Dom Camus. I can be wrong. Very interesting talk about the use of space in puzzle video games, and it talks about like things we are talking about now. Is it more interesting if it's big, if it's small? If it's small, how the space is used? Does it need noise so that the solution is not obvious? And this sort of things. You One last thing for this part. I asked about accessibility, but I think you only reference the colors. There's no other like sound or there's no dialogue, so there's no need for subtitles. There's no hint system in case someone needs a push, but you can skip levels, which is good.
Yeah, you can play levels non-linearly, and also like because we're just a small team with like limited resources, like ideally we would localize the game. And so it is, I think, currently set to English on the Steam pages. We tried to include the seizure warning at the beginning just because we do have these kind of trippy effects in it. But most of the game, including the tutorials, is language independent. which we really wanted to try and do. Like even down to the menus. I think the only thing in the menus that isn't a symbol is the word vsync. It is localized to English and as much text as there is in the game, but like none of the characters speak. There's no text in anything. All of the tutorials are image based, which hopefully makes them universally like as understandable as we can make them. So from a localization standpoint, while it is set to English, we really tried to make everything kind of as universal as possible, like by using symbols and iconography and stuff like that.
So I would be able to play if I was a slug.
If you were Slug, we would love to hear from you and your thoughts on the game.
Okay, I will. That's it for this part. I usually ask at the end of the whole interview if you want to add something, but being this the end of the game part, would you like to, do you think I've missed something important that you would like to make reference? This is the third guy.
Maybe just a piece of trivia that might be interesting is how the game's kind of, I guess the game's inception, like the idea of the game. The game, like we started thinking about this game as if it would be a ice block, kind of sliding ice block game, where as you would push ice blocks around, the ice blocks would melt more and more. And we were thinking, okay, when ice melts as it slides around, it leaves water. It leaves kind of melted water in its path. And that just kind of got us thinking, like, okay, what else in the natural world? Like, what else leaves stuff behind when it moves? And we got to, slimy goo monsters initially, kind of like for a quick interim thing, and then we landed on the slugs. And that was just kind of like a piece of trivia that it started out as ice block sliding and morphed into 90s cartoon inspired slug slimy extravaganza.
And the topic of penguins was already taken, so
yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And then I cut you some slack because you were playing, but I asked you what your names for the slugs were, and I didn't hear anything. So I'm curious. In our goal to have everyone personalize the slugs, what would you name these three guys?
Right now,
yeah.
I've been told because I usually put a pseudonym, like I don't know if that word exists in English. Nickname. I put nicknames often, and I've been told that I'm good at naming beings as in, for example, my pets or my pleasures. I need time to think to because I'm introverted. I need to think about this, and so that I'm happy with the answer. I can, if I was extroverted, I would give you 100 answers without a problem. But being introverted and perfectionist, I can only give you one. I'm only allowed myself to give you one answer, and that answer it will be the best that I can come up with. So maybe watch this space. We'll come back to this. Maybe I'll do some research and come back. I can come up with something that jumps out on me. Like, for example, my second interview, I was talking with Lage and Miriam about Stick, their game, and I called the character Purpley, but it was spontaneous. It's not like me.
Okay, so it has to come naturally. So maybe when you're playing the game, when it's released, we'll get to hear your slug names.
It's like an artist. Inspiration is not on demand. It comes whenever it wants. That's the end of the game part, but we are not still done. We are not done yet. I have a few hard questions to ask, because if you thought this was all done and smooth until the end, you are wrong. So did I ask you, maybe you mentioned missed, what's the hardest part of the development of the game?
So I would say the hardest part is probably marketing the game.
Bang! You were waiting for it. I know you were waiting for it, because you came with the homework done. I said it before at the start, because I always say that I expect my guests to say that the hardest part is marketing, because if you are making a game, you make it because the reasons we talked about in the beginning. You like to make a game, but doing marketing is separated from making a game, but it's part of making a game. Some people, they don't understand that, and for some people it's fine. They want to do a game. They don't care if it sells or if it doesn't, so it's fine. But I think you were waiting for the. It looked like you were waiting for the question. So tell me about marketing. What problems did you have?
Yeah, it's a. Actually, do you want to take this one, Tofro?
Oh yeah. So for us specifically, like we definitely did like social media pushes and everything like that, but because we've kind of talked about like how tight our timeline is, anytime we would do marketing, it would always be at the expense of something else, and there was always something else to do, like a bunch of art or a bunch of programming or anything like that. And I think a lot of developers get into this as well. The other thing specifically is because we landed on this puzzle game. There are like great games like Peak. I love Peak. Peak was such a fun game that came out this year. And because that game is all about like the interactions, it's not so much about like the solutions to things, there are surprises in it. It's about the interactions of your friends. Like I can see like a much more path forward in like Instagram and TikTok. Like that's a lot of where marketing is happening right now for games, and where games can take off. And they're just like, or like Twitch and streaming and everything like that. It's just such a great game premise for something that is like viewable, kind of like and it can grab, you can just show people like a 2-second clip of something funny happening that you and your friends did. And for a puzzle game, like we don't really want to show the solutions to as many puzzles as we can help show. We don't want to show too much of what the slugs can do, because like we want people to discover that on their own. And puzzle games are kind of a cerebral experience. So like we don't want to cheat anyone out of, as much as we can, like the experience of playing the puzzle game. So we never really quite cracked. I mean, we don't have anything up on Instagram or TikTok because we never really like cracked the video content that we could do for it. And the only ideas that we could think of were like, it just was more time than we could conceivably, unfortunately, like put towards it. So marketing is just it is a bear. I understand why people get paid the big bucks for it, more this year than any other year of my life.
I'll give you a piece of advice. Me, that I know nothing. For next game, because there's another game coming, whether it's Slugtrip 2 or not, we'll find out in the guest question probably. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
In the next game, don't think as marketing as something separated. It's intrinsic to the development of the game, and it can come in the shape of, I've done this music, I've done this background, I've designed this character. You share everything that you do in real time. It's not something that happens at the end when the game is done and then I publish some shorts to let people know that the game is available. That also happens, but it happens during the development. Marketing, it's like parallel development of the game and marketing, they are parallel lines. I would recommend that. So you don't have to find time to do marketing. It happens at the same time. You design a character, and once you are done, or maybe you are not done and you want a second opinion, so you post it and, hey, I have this too, or I have this one, what do you think about? And feedback from audience affects development, and by exposing yourself, exposing your game, people get attached earlier than when the game is done and finished and you can show it. Like, for example, there you have a demo. It's not published. It wasn't published when the game is finished and it has 20 levels. I'm showing you 3. No, it happened mid-development, and there was no problem with that. The demo now, it doesn't represent the end product. It's totally fine. Maybe there are 2 demos or 3 demos. It's fine. So do with that piece of advice what you want. You can
thank you.
you can
Very
dismiss it.
insightful.
So you answered 2 questions in one, because my one question is, what's the hardest part of the development, and the second one is, how do you feel about marketing? So that's 2 for the price of 1. Maybe I ask these 2 together because they are related. Next question. Now we are zooming out of the game, talking about more like the state of the industry, puzzle players, puzzle base of the market. So these sort of questions. I would like to ask, while you were developing the game, were you thinking of a selling point, like, I'm making this game, but when it comes to the shop, it will stand out from the pack because of this? And maybe it's related, I don't know, maybe it's separate questions. It can be 2 questions, different questions. Who is this game for? So if you have to recommend your game, I understand that you would say, I want everyone to play. But who is the game specifically designed? It can be 2 or it can be 1, you decide.
Okay. I can take that one again too,
in
Luke, but if you
short-
have something you want
In short, what makes it unique, or what's the selling point? And second, who is this game for?
Yeah, go for it. I can add anything after.
Yeah, so I would say the unique selling points of this game are like it's playing with mechanics that we've seen before, but specifically we tried to keep everything character oriented in a way that I haven't seen too many puzzlers do, with like the asymmetry between the 3 characters and how the problem solving that you do all is always feels related, and is kind of like this pathfinding maze kind of puzzle, but that grows significantly each time a new character is added. And then like the art style, I love retro pixel graphics and everything like that, but one of the things we again tried to do is, like, with the art style, we tried to go to we want to have really difficult puzzles, but we really wanted a difficulty curve that was maybe more generous than puzzle games we've seen in the past. So, as an answer to like, who's this game for, my hope is that it's kind of obviously towards puzzle gamers, but also people who like the idea of puzzles but don't necessarily want to like haven't dipped into video games because they're too hardcore. Like, we've heard playtesters, one of the best feedback I got from one of the playtesters was like, I play this game while I'm working and I just keep the window open and I treat it like the Wordle, or I treat it like something like that. Like, I'll try a couple moves, it won't work, I'll do a little assignment, I'll like work on my job a little bit, and then I'll move back to it, and I just kind of let the puzzle stew. And that was like so cool to me, because I was like, I wouldn't have thought to play a puzzle game that way, but you're kind of treating it as this kind of like again, like a more casual experience, and you're still getting a lot out of it, but you're kind of like letting your brain, you're not stressing yourself out, you're dipping in and out. So I would hope that we've done a little extra work in making this game maybe more accessible to people who are not used to extreme puzzle games, and then rewarding you with confidence when you get to those levels that you are smart enough to solve them, and you can tackle them with you and your slug buddies can tackle any problem.
Someone needs to talk about something that I think about sometimes, and it's that puzzle games looks, when general public or mainstream environment, they think puzzle game is for intelligent people, and it's a misconception. It feels like many people don't play video games because before they try, they feel they won't enjoy, and actually I feel it's the opposite, or at least it's the opposite in when it comes to a good game. And I saw that in level 2 today. If you can teach me without telling me, you are making me able, I am improving as a player. I knew nothing of the game, and now I can do things that I didn't know before. Now I know more. I have a bit of insight. You told me with your level design. Mainstream players, the general public, they don't know this. Someone needs to talk about this. Someone needs to tell them you can and you will enjoy for sure puzzle games. Not everything.
Yeah, anyone who plays our game, we can't be with you in person, but know that we are there in spirit, cheering you on, saying you can do it. you can solve everything. So yeah, it's great to hear you got that from the second puzzle.
And that type of feedback that you get just from playing the game itself, like that, those discovery moments or those aha moments, to me, those things are priceless. Those feelings that you can get, it's one of those things that you can kind of really only get in puzzle games, it seems like, or at least in a game that has some kind of puzzle element where you have that aha moment, that realization. And we try to make sure that the game has that aha moment at least a couple or 3 times every time a new character is introduced.
Totally right. There was an award last year for Thinky Awards that was best aha moment, and they removed it this year. I can't nominate Slugtrip either for that.
Oh, it's okay. Well, maybe like even if we get a nomination from you just in person, we'll love to hear it.
Okay, I'll go after when the stream finishes. I'll go on the stream and I'll shout very loud.
Yeah, just text me a picture of a trophy, and I'll that'll mean the world to me.
Okay. Very briefly, can you tell me how you feel going into the puzzle video game market? How do you feel the state of the market is? Like, is there room for your game? Is there room for more? It's everything done. It's saturated. It's a bubble. But how do you feel?
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, like a Talk Frog was saying, it does kind of borrow from genres, sliding puzzle, resource management games. When you get to the third slug, Sokoban elements come into the mix as well. But we feel and we try to make sure that while the game borrows from those kind of different puzzle elements, it kind of adds its own spin. And like the core thread throughout the whole thing is, slime is limited. You have to use your slime wisely, and we hope that the combination of that kind of common through line through the blending of these mechanics and the fact that there's these different mechanics, and when each slug comes in, almost like the genre of the game changes a little bit. We hope that players find that exciting.
What would you consider a success? This is a question that came out from Jagreef's interview. What would you consider a success? I find it an interesting question, so I'm repeating. Is it already a success, or do you expect to sell millions, or maybe in his case, a popular streamer played his game and that's also a success? It can take many different shapes.
For me, success is releasing the game. I mean, I would love if plenty of people bought the game too, but just getting the game out the door, having a game under our belt that we can totally call our own, that's success to me.
Which is the original motivation, as you mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
Frog?
Yeah, I'd say similarly, and then I also kind of already hit my metric for success, which is very fortunate in that I just wanted to, I was hoping that people I didn't know would play it and like it. And that's happened. So when we release it, my hope is that more people that I don't know play it and like it. Like Lou said, it's just when the game releases, it is so hard to make anything of any scale and try and have it feel cohesive and like true to yourself and something that you can be proud of. And so like the fact if the game releases, Obviously, I would love it for it to do very well, but yeah, just the fact that we worked together, it was like just insanely funnier making it, and we kind of made a game that we're both like, this is very much our jam. Like, we've talked multiple times. If we did not make this game and this came out, we would vibe with it. Like, we would be the first customers. We would be wishlisting it, and that's really like all I can hope for. Is like it's so hard to make anything. So the fact that we have something coming out that we're proud of is that's success enough for me.
It's like giving birth. It's painful, but it's satisfying at the same time. Not that any of
I
us.
can't speak from experience, but yeah.
Not that any of us three can tell by experience, but I've witnessed it at least, and I've been told. I don't have any more questions. Just one question, but it's same or similar to what Gubertron asked a few minutes before in the chat, which is what's beyond Slugtrip. He was asking if there's any plans post-launch for DLC or something, but we can make the same. You can talk about the future. What's beyond for Slugtrip specifically, and what's beyond release for you too?
Yeah, so beyond release for Slugtrip specifically, I think the first and foremost is kind of like getting a pulse or a sense of things from the people that play it. See how things are doing. Of course, like if there are any bugs, trying to get those patched up and fixed. I think for like DLC potential for Slugtrip, that's just kind of remains to be seen. I think the reality of the situation, we kind of need to make sure our financial runways are kind of on track and everything. So maybe in the immediate term, DLC is not a possibility, but who knows? You never know what could happen in the future.
So that's for Slugtrip, and for you?
Yeah, so longer term, I mean, the goal is to keep making games with a tall frog, as best we can. We may have to work in, odd jobs here and there in between, but I personally would love to just keep cranking on games.
Even if it's a total failure, like at a marketing level, it doesn't sell. It sells 0 copies. Imagine, you would still make another game.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would love to.
You might not see one from us for a little bit while we get other stuff sorted, but yeah, the goal is very much to make another one. And we have a Dropbox document of all the weird ideas that we're talking about, and any one of them I would be happy to start making. So yeah, it all kind of depends on how this game does, but the intent is to make one at some point, sooner rather than later if we can swing it. But yeah, things are a little bit up in the air, but yeah, we would love to make more stuff.
Remember, it has to be a puzzle game.
We have a couple puzzle games, but I think a lot of them are different. So we'll keep that in mind, though.
Action game, Dark Souls style roguelike. There are too many. You just talk about what makes your game unique. It's you already have the base, the stage set for doing unique things in the puzzle environment.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, yeah.
Of course, we don't have time for my debate topics, my general topics. It's been 3 hours now, so we are actually, I can say we are on track. So I have some topics for emergency in case the interview takes not too long, it's too short, but we don't get into that. There is one very last question, and it's also not coming from you, which is the guest question. You know how it works, but viewers might not. This guest question, it works like this. My previous guest left behind a question for my future interviewee, which is Iceblinked, Lou and Adolfo. and I will give them the opportunity to ask a question for my future interviewee, which we don't know who it will be. So because you knew the mechanics of intrinsic mechanics of this puzzle, of this guess question, I'll ask I think I can ask the question from Jagriff from the previous interview and straight go to the question you are leaving behind for my next interview. And so I will tell them about you and your game. Same way I talk about everyone that's come through this channel. I talk about Jeremy, who was before in the chat, who has just released Puzzle Depot, and I am pretty sure developing something. I might think they developing Puzzle Depot 2. I'll leave it there. Puzzle game of the year. I just said that. And I talk about Miriam Enlage, who... Yes, I'm talking about you. Who... Yes. Yes, I know. Miriam Enlage, who released Stick, and Lage is developing a chess game right now, at the moment. He's at home developing. And Jagriff was the previous guest who has released Gen 2 Rescue, also puzzle game of the year. There are two this year. I have that power. Geoff Keighley can only name one game of the year, I can do two. It comes with the trade. His question from Jagriff. Did I say Gen 2 Rescue? If I didn't say, I just said it. Jagriff asked, it's a long question, it's more like a situation, and what would you do? The question is, what would you do in this situation? So okay. Imagine you are developing two games. Your dream game and another game that upon release turns out to be successful. What would you prioritize next? Doing a sequel to this successful game, even though it's not what your option one, or doing your option one, which is your dream game? It's the game that you would like to play. I'm doing this game because this is what I would go to the shop and buy, insta buy, and I will play it and I would love it. In this situation, what would you do?
Yeah, so I think it's impossible to say when, you know, the money's not right there in front of you. But just how I'm thinking about it right now, if I'm not having fun doing the thing, you know, making the game, I think that could translate into the quality of the game. So my vote would be to go with the game idea that I'm passionate about. But again, the money is not right in front of me in this very moment. So it really is one of those things that's impossible to say. But I would like to think that, you know, if I went the other route and was kind of grinding the game out, that would translate into the quality of the game. And I wouldn't be potentially as proud of, you know, what comes out of it.
Very democratic answer. It's like it's a pro and a con for each of the two options. Like, if I do the successful game, but it's good because it's already successful, people are going to love if I have more ideas for the second part. But I would do the dream game. Tell me if I understood wrong. I would do the dream game, but at the same time, we don't know how much money we are talking about, or how much, how successful it is. And if you do something against your will, between quotes, I agree that it translates. It doesn't have to translate, but maybe you put it this way. If you do that, if you do something against your will, you will see it. Like, you know how capable you are of doing things, or you come up with a character but you are not happy. And maybe to the other millions of people who will play your game, they will love it, but it's not you reflected in the process or in the final design. Frog, what's your take?
My take is going to be less diplomatic. No, I am one of the most like lazy, procrastinating people that I know. And so if I'm working on something, I look for excuses to not work on things that I love. So if I'm working on something I don't like, I am super dramatic and drag my feet on it for forever. So independent of passion project or not, I have found I have weaponized laziness that does not compute with things that I don't want to do. So I need to I have to do things that I can find some way to be passionate about, or I just like can't do them. Which is probably not the healthiest way to go through life, but especially when it's stuff that like if it's my game company, if I'm like, it's a little easier for me to do stuff if it's not directly related to like me as a person or my company. But like I have to do stuff that I like because it's like, yeah, I can make a dozen excuses to do things I don't want to do. So yeah, I have to work on the passion project. One, because it makes me happy, but also it's I'm a very overly dramatic person, and I can't work on things I'm not interested in.
I visualize you dragging your feet like a slug. If a
Oh yeah.
if a slug had feet.
Yep. Yeah. When I have something to do that I don't want to do, you can just see slime trails all around my house because I'm just walking around in circles.
Usually because guests don't come with the homework done. They don't know about how the guest question works. You've answered my previous guest. Now it's your turn to come up with a question. Both together. It's not one each. It's one for both of you. I have time. I previously I would, or that's how it happened. I would give you time to think of the question, which I will, because I have to do this in the meantime. I'm going to be sharing your social profile if this is nearing the end of the interview, for people who want to follow you and follow your work and know about your future game. Where can they find you? So I'm sharing your Blue Sky profile, both of you. Iceblinked doesn't have a profile, so it's your personal, right?
Yeah. We definitely we wanted to be like very personable and like talk to people directly. So yeah, following any one of us to see what we're doing, and we'll respond to any questions that come our way and anything like that.
Because you are two, I have to do it 4 times because I think I didn't mention I'm multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube, so it's live on both platforms at the same time. So I've shared your links on Twitch right now, and in a second, if you're watching on YouTube, give me a moment and I'll share their profiles. They can always go to Blue Sky and look for you, but I'll make it easy. I want to make it easy. Meanwhile, you go thinking about the question.
Okay. Sounds good.
Fine. Which I know you. I think that's what I understood. I think you already know, but let's pretend.
So and piggybacking off of me talking about being a procrastinator, I watched the previous interview. I knew this was coming, and I don't have a response yet. So it's good that we have a little bit of time.
Don't pay attention to the chat on screen.
Yeah.
The links are in your platform's chat. If you are watching on YouTube, there's a chat for YouTube, and the link will appear there. will appear there because I have links blocked, so they don't show. Because in the beginning, when the dinosaurs, when I started streaming, I had many chats coming selling viewers, and they came with a link. So you click and they sell you something that doesn't work. It's a scam. So I had to block the links. That's why it says on my screen on the live stream it says link, but that's because I have it blocked with a bot. So that's all 4. I can remove them from here because they don't mean anything. You can find them there. And if you have more questions that I haven't asked and you want to ask them, you can find them there, or preferably on Blue Sky. Are you on other platforms? You mentioned you are on TikTok and Instagram.
We haven't done anything with that. It was just like when I'm talking about like game development marketing. So definitely Blue Sky is the best way to get a hold of us. We also do. We saw yours a couple days late on the Steam discussion page of our game when you had that really valuable feedback. So we'll also check that as much as we can when the game's out. But yeah, Blue Sky is definitely the best way to reach us right now. But then we'll also be perusing the Steam discussion boards, especially once the game is out, to try and catch any feedback people have.
So questions are not limited to my stream. They can still go their way. Your question.
Message Lou if you want a short and concise answer. Message me if you want 600 paragraphs.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, sorry, it was just a joke. I said message Lou if you want a short and concise answer. Or message me if you want a 600 paragraph response.
I might not get to read the second line. Duly noted. Do you have your question? I didn't see you talking between the two of you, so it was already.
We were messaging separately. We didn't know if we should talk over you or anything. I think we got one. This one is maybe more logistics, but that's because like we're coming off of making a game. I'm really interested to kind of hear about how other indie developers solve certain problems. And so for me, this is kind of, I know it is context switching, but it's basically multitasking. I have a very difficult time because when you're an indie developer, wearing different hats and having to alternate it, not necessarily on a timeline you want, right? Because it's like, you got to do the marketing, you got to do the art, you got to do the design. And it takes a lot of time for me to get in the headspace of the new thing I need to do. So my question to someone else would be like, what's your style of kind of like multitasking as efficiently as possible as an indie developer, and like what kind of tricks and tools have worked for you in kind of balancing those hats as well as you can?
Is that a question or a call for rescuing?
It can't be. It can be both, right?
A call for help.
Can be both, yeah.
So the question is, how do you manage multitasking? As in, not multitasking in one day, but taking, these project timelines. I've been exposed to that. So these projects, they have like, we need to do this task by this day, but at the same time someone else has to do this task by another day. Only the situation is you are the same person, the same people doing all of the tasks. Oh, I forgot. There is a non-written rule that says that Noru, also known as Jeremy, developer of Puzzle Depot. There is a non-written rule that says that because he didn't get a question from a previous guest, he gets to answer all of the guests' questions. And his answer in the chat says, my style to handle context switching is to miss my deadlines and delay releases. I'm a witness of that because he told me I'll release my game by the end of 2024. I think he said. I think he mistook the last digit. So in the end, he released 2025. So he is true to his word. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really has been a learning experience with.
In his defense and supporting his solution, quote unquote solution, maybe it help you as well. When you do this kind of project, mainly for yourself, but like 80%, there's a rule like says 80-20 or something like that. 80% the motivation is for yourself, for your own. There's no pressure. There's no you don't have investors waiting for you to release the game. This kind of approach can work, but only in this case. When you are not tied to you are not tied. I was going to say to the success of the game, but in terms of economics, like you don't need the money, you don't need to sell 1 million copies. When you are not tied to that, this approach can work. You know that you might be stressing yourself unnecessarily because you have your day job, you have your life, and this is an extra. If you do it for fun, you need to have fun. If you don't have fun, you have to delay your deadlines. That's the solution. Actually, he is right, but it might not be for everyone. I will ask this question to my future guests. Let's see what they say. I don't know who it will be. I hope the question applies. It will be related to puzzle video games and developing a project, so it has to apply. But I don't close the door to a music composer for puzzle video games exclusively. For example, I cannot say it will be a developer, but I'll try. Hopefully, when I invite people, they say yes. I don't have to go and kind of feel like I'm tricking them and convincing them, but they come to the channel willingly. Finally, the release date is on the 22nd of December this month in the US. It will be 23rd in Australia and somewhere in between if you are in the middle, in somewhere in the rest of the world. Remind me of the platforms. And when you say Steam, is Mac and PC or Windows? That sound fancy, I didn't understand. Are they made?
It's
made of silicon.
Yeah, it's just Macs in the past, basically Macs that have been released in the past, I guess, like 5-ish years. Yeah, like the
Okay.
Apple Silicon set
So
of Intel.
everybody knows now. Very last question. Would you like to add anything else, also known as last famous words?
Nothing for me. Just thank you for having us. I love talking about the game. I hope people saw some cool stuff.
Thank you for rescuing me because I gave up on the interviews. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing the interview. I always say the same. I would stay here like 3 more hours, but it's not viable I need to stop at some point. Nothing else. I wish you good luck and all the best. Everybody knows where to find you, where to find your game, and how hard it took to make. Nothing else. We get to the end of the stream. I can say goodbye to you now. I'll change my scene. And thank you both. Where is my scene? Bye. I'm the only one who farewells people on the stream waving his hand.
Thank you. Good
Also, I forgot to mention that you now belong to a very exclusive group of people that only to those people, this is a privilege you have now. You belong to this group of people that I wave hello or goodbye when I cross them on the street. So, bye bye. Attention.
Thank
you so much.
Well, as I said, always have a great time talking about development of games. And one thing, it comes a satisfaction from playing a game, but it's a different level from learning how the game was made, and it's completely different. You think, oh, you have some assumptions, like this was this way or this other way, and they tell you things that you wouldn't imagine, like references for art, or this game is based on this other one. We took reference from this game and we bent the rules and turn it into something else. Mid-development, we came up with this situation that sparked in the project in a different way. It's super interesting, and I thank Iceblinked for their insight today. From me, I'll be back. Now I'll talk about me, which is the boring part. I'll come back next week, and it'll be the last stream for this year. I'm not sure what I'll do. I have been given keys of games recently released that I have to show you. I want to show you because I'm here to show you the games, new games that probably you have missed or you haven't heard about. I still have to decide, but it for sure it'll be the last stream of the year. Nothing else. Thanks, Benjamin Klein, that I missed. I saw that you subscribed to the channel. I thank you now that I was. It was on the back of my mind, or my RAM memory, all the stream. I have to thank him. I guess you are him. I can be wrong, probably as well. Thanks, Benjamin, for subscribing to the YouTube channel. To everyone else watching, I recommend, if you enjoyed the interview, I recommend you to do the same, because in 2026 there'll be more and hopefully better. I can't assure you that it'll be better than 2025, but definitely there'll be more content the same way, similar interviews, demo gameplays, reviews, but reviews are not on YouTube, are on other platforms. Amarili, let me read it at least once. Amarilis Buenano. Amarilis Buenano. Thank you for being watching, and to everyone else watching the stream live or as a bot, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and I hope to see you next time. It will be next week on Thursday, regular time. Until then, bye bye now. And play Slugtrip. Bye bye. Bye now.